splashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag-off at a Penske fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burb with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two dumb Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
Well, that was a bit of a bummer of a trade deadline. You know, my initial thought was this. If you could improve your team at all at the trade deadline, you might want to do it. I got some beef about what happened yesterday. Also, I don't know. We'll get into this. This trade deadline, we waited it out a long time for it to get here. Mike Tomlin even came on during the trade deadline timetable and said that he loves shopping. And no fruit yielded from it, but life must go on. We got to get ready for the Chargers, guys. This is week 10 of the NFL. Heading into this week, I do want to say welcome back, everybody. Welcome to the show. This is episode 845 of the Two Dumb Yinzers. I do want to start by saying I want to thank everybody for all the support and everybody that showed up yesterday. It was a really fun day. We meant we meant to go 2 hours. However, it ended up going 4 hours, and it went really well. And again, a lot of people showed up, a lot of support, and we are very grateful. And we do want to say thank you to everybody.
Yes. Thank you. No thanks to Derpy, though.
But I do want to say good morning to everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is going into week 10. It's Chargers week. We do head out there to play Sunday Night Football on Sunday at 8:20 p.m. The Chargers are 6-3 as we are 5-3. We're 3.5 point underdogs in this game already, which I'm cool with. So much to get into. Let's see what's up with the board. Good morning, board. Phil the Steel. What's up, dude? Great seeing you. Boom. Always great seeing the Phil. What's up, Tortilla, my man? Corey Beavers. Corey says this. Don't get me started on the bullshit the Steelers are on. I'm sick of these motherfuckers talk about being all in and don't do it. I know. What exactly does all in mean? At the end of the day, I'd like a little clarity on this. I haven't been this fired up in a while. Has a weird feel to it. Phil the Steel says batteries 3-2. Bank it. Yinzer Joe. What's up, man? He says, can we say one and done? This is effing bull. Tortilla. Maybe Mike Tomlin literally went shopping instead of making trade. Maybe that's what he meant. Maybe he literally went shopping and forgot that there was a job going on because he loves shopping. And there could have certainly been trades that we could have made to improve the team. And the reasons we didn't is because we didn't want to use low-end draft picks to seal the deal. So other teams do improve. We don't, but we got plenty of round 7 and 6 picks. Believe me, we'll be fine. We'll get a bunch of guys that won't even make the practice squad, but we're all in. So what the hell? Field of Steel says this. He says, I'm just waiting to hear the breaking news. When is it going to happen? I don't know. Tortilla says Vanilla was on Jamal's pod last night. That was awesome. I heard about this. Talk about it in just a second after we get caught up. Big Zeus, what's up, bro? Always great seeing you on the board. Welcome back. Big Zeus says Steelers deceived Rodgers from the jump. Tomlin deceived us with his press conference comments and cons the fans once again. And Mike Carr, what's up, bro? Great seeing you on the board as well. He says window shopping. Yeah, well, let me start, Mike. I seen you over on talking trash with the Steeler gang last night. You were talking to Jamal, you were talking to Tyrone, you were talking to Tortilla was there. Everybody was there, man. It was like you look good, man. You were drunk a little bit. I could tell as soon as I turned it on. I could tell you were drinking, but nonetheless, great representation. Did you have a good time, man?
I had a great time. It was fun. Like you said, I was drinking.
Cody was there as well.
Cody was there. I had a really good time. I was sitting there. I heard that they were on. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to pop in. Had a few libations. I was looking up, ready to go. So I was like, pop that link in. So I hopped on, talked to the boys for a while. It was a good time. I had fun.
Good, man. Everything went good. I was watching for a little bit. Great show as always. Make sure to go check out Jamal and company over at Talking Trash with the Steeler Gang. They're right here on YouTube. They can pretty much pop up any time of the day, so keep your eye open. I do want to say good morning to Cody. What's up, brother? Always great seeing Cody on the board. Corey says, at Phil, breaking news on what? I hope at this point we sign Asante Samuel Jr. Vegas says, didn't find any holes. Cody says, hey, Mike, the fuck, Penn State, huh? Mark Malone. Oh, man. Mark Malone says, Thunder always keeping the booze flow. He sure is. Good luck finding him sober.
Yeah, it's hard finding me sober after.
Yinzer Joe, man, he says, my man, I hope, how good is the draft going to be? I can't see it being a real jump in our franchise. I've been watching colleges and no one really jumps out to me as a Steeler. And don't get me wrong. Yes, draft picks are valuable, but when you have an overabundance, we have a ton, and you can't give up a late round to seal a deal. That's kind of stupid to me, but I'm sure we'll hear more about why and all the BS as we go. Mark Malone says, "How do you think he takes so many lot lizards?" Also, Mike says, "I believe this is the year. Not that they're going to have a great chance, but after this, I think they will be in full rebuild mode. Sorry, old players 1 year older. Rebuild will take at least 5 years. It feels like this rebuild's been going on forever." Vegas says, "I hope we get I hope we draft Carnell Tate from Ohio State. Is that where Carnell Tate's out of, Mike?"
Yeah, Ohio State.
So I do want to say welcome back, everybody. Again, thank you, everybody, for all their support yesterday. Thank you for coming and hanging out. It was great. It went fast. It really did. 4 hours went by like nothing. A lot of things to get into today, guys. I do want to say, what do I want to say? I do want to say this. It's Charger Week. We're getting into all kinds of things today. Like, just before we start, I do want to say congratulations to the young pitcher in Pittsburgh, Paul Skeens. He is now a finalist for the Cy Young Award. And just in case you're wondering, yes, Mike, just in case you're wondering, just 97 days till pitchers and catchers show up at
Oh, God.
We just have a World Series like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, it feels like it.
And also one other non-Steeler related news, just so we can stay Steelers through the duration. The kickoff for the Pitt Notre Dame game is going to be noon, not this Saturday, but next Saturday. The Pitt Panthers do have this week off. They will be playing Notre Dame, who's number 10. The Pitt Panthers, who are now at number 24, they had the first college football playoff top 25 ranking come out yesterday, and Pitt is in the top 25. Their destiny's in their own hands. They're 5-0 since this a true freshman, has taken over at quarterback. They've been averaging 40 points a game since then. And if they win out, this team will go to the playoffs. So is it possible? I don't know. I wouldn't say because of the past, but again, this kid's going through the ACC like it's nothing. Again, 40 points a game, 5-0 as a true freshman. So we'll be rooting him on against Notre Dame, then against Miami, and then against Georgia Tech, and hope for a win out if they can. They'll get the ACC championship game, and good things can happen from there. So that is all the scoop that is unrelated to the Steelers. Let's get at it, guys. Today we're going to talk a little bit about this, a little bit about the trade deadline. I'm not going to go on and on. We won't dread on it, we won't dwell on it forever. But let me know. Let me ask you guys: were we winners or losers? Because we could be looked at as winners as well. It was a conservative, certainly conservative trade deadline, and if they do the right things with all these. But again, my problem is this: if you can make a move to make your team that much better, let me say, maybe they went out and got one of these wide receivers, or if they would have went out and gotten a little offensive line help, JPJ, for example. If they would have went, maybe even Quinnen Williams. I don't know what the Jets gave up for him. But I do know, guys, we made no effort. The calls were being made. I mean, so don't get me wrong. Things were happening throughout the day, but nothing happened as far as results. And let me say this real quick. The Jets, boy, talking about making out. And I don't see anything really yielding from this because they're the Jets. But, guys, they have in the 2026 draft, this draft coming up in Pittsburgh, they have 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks, which is freaking amazing. And then in the following draft, they have three first-round picks. So if the Jets were at all competent, they should be able to put together a nice squad. But I really struggle to believe that will happen. But, guys, ultimately, were we winners or were we losers? Let me know on the board whether you thought we were winners or whether we were losers. Do you feel that we were all in? Do you feel that the term all in is a term that's just being used to keep us quiet? Or do you really feel that we're all in? Do you think that we didn't make the moves because the plan is bigger? And if that's the case, are we all in? I don't know, Mike. Yeah, please.
I was going to say no one from the Steelers ever said they were all in. This was a media and fan driven narrative. So I just, for me to say, oh, they're all in and they didn't do anything, for me is kind of disingenuous. They acknowledge every year they want to, build a team that is competitive, but they're also building towards the future. So if you're the Raiders and the Steelers and the Jaguars offer you the same picks, the 4th and the 6th, but you're getting Minnesota's 4th round pick, and right now they have a worse record than the Steelers. I'm going to trade it to the team where I get the higher draft pick, even though it might be a couple slots up, and you're looking at ahead like, hey, you know what? Pittsburgh might finish out better than Minnesota. I'm going to take their pick. Or, hey, it's the Steelers. How many times have they screwed us over, in the 70s? My dad hated this team. I hate this team. Why would I make a trade with them? They fucked me over in the Antonio Brown trade. Well, I wouldn't do it with them too. So there could be a lot of different factors that went into why they couldn't get Jacoby Myers.
Well, I mean, that's a lot of speculation. I mean, you're coming back with the 70s and Antonio Brown trades. And, I don't know how much that's really played into, but I do know this. There was an offensive lineman that could have certainly paid dividends for us long term if you're talking about building a team, if you're talking about legitimately building from the ground up and what they're trying to do through the draft. You could definitely got some help on the defensive line. It didn't have to be the wide receiver 2 that we were looking for, and it didn't have to be a cornerback that we kept going on about. I just find it totally disingenuous to think that they had no moves that could have improved this team. And again, big name guys are moving for 4th and 5th and 6th round picks. We couldn't find somebody on the interior line that could have been a part of the bigger picture in draft day. Not one person across the league that I know of caught any interest from the Steelers on the interior line. And I thought that that's what they were building from the inside out. I guess I was wrong. And again, we're seeing that because, again, even all the mentions, there was nothing even, again, we talked about a little bit of offensive line help. We talked about a little defensive line help, and maybe we couldn't get Quinnen Williams. Maybe we weren't willing to give up what they were asking, but there wasn't a person in this league that caught our interest enough that we could have, that we could have hooked with some of the leverage that we do have via draft capital. I just don't know. It's a little sus to me as we are looking back in hindsight and trying to figure out what happened, what we got to do next, are we in any better position than we were 2 days ago? And is this team any better equipped to beat a team that's going to be able to throw the ball at us like Cincinnati and Green Bay did within the past 3 weeks? I don't know. Maybe they're counting on Duggar being a Superman and this guy's going to come in and fix everything. I know that they're super happy with the way the defense is. I know that the team is on the coaches saying, let's leave the defense the way that it is. We want to play our game, which ultimately you would have played your game had the other teams not prepared to beat you and keep you off of your game, which was the case in 2 of those games, and it wasn't in Indianapolis. So again, as long as teams are stubborn and do what it is that they do and don't make those adjustments like Joe Flacco and the Cincinnati Bengals did, like Green Bay Packers did with 20 straight receptions, these teams, there will be teams that find ways to beat us, guys. Again, did we improve enough at the trade deadline to become any better, to improve any more for the run? Yes, the future is important, but the present is the present, and we have to live in that now, and we have to find ways to win football games and get better, and I don't know if we did that.
Like this team is far from winning a Super Bowl. So
Are they, though? People are just talking about the Colts like being the best team in the league, and we beat the Colts. How can that even be possible then?
Any given Sunday can happen, but legitimately, you've been saying, all season long that there's no way that this team can beat the
because I know how to beat this team, and if I know how to beat this team, other teams can, and I can find ways to improve this team as well, which we didn't.
So going out and getting 2 rental guys on defense or a rental defensive back or
our whole team is a team of
wide receivers going to get us over the hump.
Like they thought what we had right now. Listen, we thought what we brought in during the offseason was going to help us stop the pass. So, throw that out the window, because obviously when it comes down to it, we aren't going to be able to stop the pass when we need to, because smart teams and smart quarterbacks will play us the way that they need to play. So bring in all these players to stop the pass. Did that help? Why did we do it? So let's just throw that out the window. You got to make moves at some point. You can't sit on your hands forever. Again,
you don't got to make moves if you don't. If nothing is there for you to make.
Nobody
moves,
across the league.
Make sense for you.
There's nobody across the league, offensive line and defensive line, that we could have pulled a trade off with a late.
Could have. Who? Quentin Williams went for like 2 first round, or one for a first round draft pick. And
I said, Mike, and when I say Quentin Williams probably isn't going to happen, I said Quentin Williams. It doesn't surprise me.
Who else was out there available?
Well, let me tell you, there's hundreds of guys around the league. I don't know who they are personally, but these guys get paid a lot of money to sit there and go through these names, and there wasn't an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman that could have helped this team, let alone the positions that obviously we need help at. So again, I say it's a loss. I think we lose the trade deadline, and that's just my opinion.
I think, it was, if you factor in the Kyle Duggar trade, I think we won on the trade deadline. We got him during trade deadline season. We won out and got a guy, and he paid immediate dividends.
We'll see, though.
The week before, it doesn't count, but it counts. It's working.
We'll see. We'll watch him play out again, making immediate dividends and actually being a help for the long term is 2 different stories. Anybody could come in and have a great game right off the top. Let's see if he carries through, and let's see if this pass defense keeps up and is able to stop the pass, because this is what everyone's saying. He came, we're changing things. We're going to keep it the way it is, and we're going to play our style. So we'll continue to watch. And if teams start passing all over us, throw that out the window too.
Well, they've already been passing all over us. So it would just
with Duggar? With Dugger?
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you. So, we got a lot better with Duggar. Matter of fact, we got 5 turnovers. And we won by 7 points. We had 5 turnovers against New England. We beat them by 3 points. These aren't good things. If we could before you make stupid faces at me, if we can make 5 turnovers every game, we're in good shape. The chances are, as you've seen, we're not going to make 5 turnovers every game. And the fact that you get 5 turnovers and you beat a team by a touchdown, there's other problems that need to be fixed here, obviously, and they're obviously the big problems and the things that we just would they just didn't touch.
If those 5 turnovers were just 5 stops of drives,
and they weren't,
would that be
if it was a different game and they were just stops, if they were punts? Yes, it wouldn't have been better, because the field position was what it was all about. Peyton Wilson getting an interception and running it down to the 28. That helps them get on that same possession, punting the ball down to our 20, and that's getting it in our own end zone. Yes, very beneficial to us scoring. We scored 14 points. We win by 7, 14 off of turnovers. You can't rely on turnovers. You got to improve your team. And again, don't believe me or argue all you want. We're going to follow this and watch it play out as we do all the time. And I'm not wrong.
It's just weird, man. Only in Pittsburgh is it where a defense is a takeaway artist is a bad thing.
Nobody's saying it's a bad thing. What I'm saying is we have to win by having 5 turnovers, and that's not a good thing. Turnovers are a great thing. I love turnovers. I love them. They're great. But if we need 5 of them to win a football game against a team that's a playoff team, Patriots, Indianapolis, we're not that good.
So it's just weird. The defense steps up against the number 1 team in the NFL, and that's a bad thing.
No,
that is a bad thing. Okay, I just want to know where we're coming from.
So you're literally making
you just said it was a bad thing that we had to get those turnovers to win.
Yes, yes. If we have to win by way of turnovers,
we have to do it against a playoff team. That's a bad thing. We did it against the playoff team. We did it against the number 1 team in the NFL, and that's a bad thing. I just want to figure out where we're coming from.
And this is what's going on with you. If we need turnovers to win, that's the problem. If you can't understand what I'm saying, yes, turnovers are good. Yes, Mike, we
needed turnovers to win that game because that's how we won the game.
Turnovers to win
that's how we stopped the number 1 team in the NFL.
You don't understand that, and that's a problem. That's a problem with you because you don't understand something so obvious.
So obvious that they needed to find a way to win that game. They found a way to win that game.
Do you think we're gonna get 5 turnovers? Mike, let me ask you this: do you think we're gonna get 5 turnovers when we play Buffalo? Of course, we can't say yes. We can't say we don't know. But let me say this: do you think if we get no turnovers against a good team, we're gonna be able to find a way to win? We haven't been able to do it against half good teams, Mike. I'm just saying I love turnovers. Again, I don't know how to explain that out to you. I just need you to understand that if you need turnovers to win, you're not going to win a lot of football games.
It's just a weird.
How is that hard to understand? I just don't understand. No, turnovers are good. One more time, maybe I'll write it back here so you can see it. Turnovers are good. I like turnovers. They're great. They're fantastic. If you need them to win every game, like we needed them to win by 7 against this team and by 4 against New England, that's not good signs of what's going on with your team. You should be able to improve if you can improve. And we had a chance to improve. We just didn't improve. And we are where we are. We will get knocked out of the playoffs or out of the playoff run the same exact way Cincinnati beat us. We will get knocked out the same way Green Bay beats us. As soon as we play somebody who's intelligent enough that knows how to beat us and watches film, it's going to be curtains. And we did nothing. We did nothing to be able to stop that.
Time will tell.
Okay, there you go. Fair enough. Let's get back to the board. Let me go right here. All right, I think this might be where we are. Tortilla says he was hammered. Tortilla was hammered last night on the show. I can tell Tortilla is a little faded.
Tortilla was sauced.
Cody says, "Hey, Mike, the fuck, Penn State." Let me scoot up a little bit further here. Man. All right, here we go. Water Bob, sorry. Yinzer Joe says Jets are taking everyone's first. And I know the whole first round is going to be Jets picks next year in Pittsburgh.
They're all going to be busts too.
More than likely.
Or they'll get them and they still won't win anything.
Field of Steel says we're effed. Ratbirds got Hingle McCringleberry. Even the Ratbirds made a little bit of moves. I don't know. We'll see. Again, yes, we will. Absolutely. We will see. And I will certainly keep the receipts on that. Vegas says that was awesome for you to stay on until the deadline. Oh man, no problem, dude. And it was really fun to do as well. As long as people are going to hang out with us and stick around, we had no problem doing it. So thank you so much again. I do want to say that again. I do want to say thank you to everybody yesterday. You were awesome. You guys made it possible. Cody said, man, there was like 70 people in there yesterday. You guys were killing it. It was a really good time. It was a great show. It really was, guys. Again, very, very grateful. Field of Steel says no more. Easy said no more. That's right. That's one of my favorite songs. Corey says this. He says if I were the Jets, I'd take 2 quarterbacks in the first round just to be safe. You might want to take all. You got 2 first rounds and 2 second rounds. I would get 4 quarterbacks if I was the Jets.
Like, didn't I have a mock draft last season where just joking around I did an all quarterback draft and then the all D-line draft?
You did.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to, man. I would draft. Like Mark Malone says, keep picking them till you get one.
I would draft the 4 best quarterbacks in the draft next year if I was the Jets and make them my quarterback 1, 2, 3, and 4 and make it like a March Madness tournament in camp and just have those 4 duking it out for months to see who's the best. And I mean, come on, nothing short of that's going to get the Jets any success. I think we can all.
Dude, they're
agree on
all
that.
going to suck. They're going to go elsewhere than be good.
Yeah.
That would be the story for the Jets.
Hey, let's root for him because that might be our quarterback in the future. If you think about it,
Right?
Root for the Jets. Get the good quarterbacks, guys. These might be our future here. Cody says, I hate listening to those guys like DK Pitt Sports and dumbass say we are saving picks to move up to get a quarterback when all the bad teams need quarterbacks, and there's a bunch of teams with double first-round picks. It's going to be very difficult for us to be in the driver's seat as far as getting a quarterback goes. You know, we're probably going to be able to get something in the first round. We're probably going to get something pretty good. But at the end of the day, if you're talking top quarterback, one or two guys, it is going to be very difficult to get. And you know what? That's when it's going to really feel like a bummer because, again, we didn't do anything now. And we're not, if we can't do what we want to do then. But again, you know, do we settle for the second, third, fourth, maybe, you know, fifth quarterback when this was the draft? We're saving draft capital. We couldn't wait. You draft. So again, it better be a home run for Steeler fans. Again, Mike, I just don't know if enough was done. I want to go all the way. And if we could do it this year, I think we have just as good a chance as a team like the Colts, or just as good as a team like the Denver Broncos, just as good as a team like the Patriots. I truly do. I feel that we are in that same tier as those teams, inconsistently good. And those teams are all going to show you that they're inconsistently good. And we're going to get down today later and look at what the Colts had already played against, see what the results are of what they did to get to this point. And you're going to see that they're not that great of a team. So again, we do fall into that tier. And until other teams are able to knock the top tier teams out of the playoffs, it's going to continue the same way. And I'm not saying these teams are going to win Super Bowls that are top teams. Buffalo hasn't won in ever. But I do consider them a top tier team. But until one of these teams, these second tier teams, can knock those teams out in January, nothing has changed. Those teams always find ways to win in January, especially the team from Missouri. They always find a way to win. And unfortunately, they're in the AFC. So if anything would happen, we would have to face them if we were ultimately able to make a run. So again, we have to be able to dethrone somebody. Somebody in the second tier has to be able to dethrone those top two teams. Once they do, I think that's when you can start considering yourself a real threat. Otherwise, what else have you really done? What else has the Colts really done? I mean, again, we'll look at what they've done as far as the games they played. But again, that was a really good team you saw us play. We could say this, we could say that, but you know, we all watched football for a long time. Was that a really good football team? I wasn't at any point under the impression that they were really good.
No, and like I didn't feel like that they were a threat after the first quarter. More or less after the strip sack, it felt like.
And let me, Mike, just one more time, and I will let you finish entirely. Now, at no point during a game, and again, I'm just generally saying, if we were playing Buffalo, which we have over the past 5 years, we played them a handful of times, or Philadelphia, who we've played a handful of times over the past 5 years, do you ever feel that they're not competition after one quarter? You feel like, fuck, I still have a whole 3 quarters to play these guys. That's going to get ugly. So that's the difference that I'm trying to differentiate those two tiers. We're still in that second one, and until you prove that you could be in the first one, which I don't think any of those teams have yet, they've done well, which is good. But again, until they show their top tier, I think we could all agree that that group of teams, your New Englands, your Indianapolises, your Denvers, your Pittsburghs, and take it into the NFC, do the same thing. They're not really your best teams yet. And those teams rarely make deep runs in the playoffs. So that's all I'm saying, guys. I'm just trying to make a little bit of sense of it. Mike, I am going to pitch you the ball back and let you take over, man.
Hopefully I don't fumble it like the Colts do here.
Or don't spike it like Wilson. Come on.
I'm going to spike it like Plex, you know. I'm going to give myself up and spike it. No, like, the thing is, though, like, talking about, like, the AFC and, like, the tiers, I don't consider Kansas City a tier 1 team this year. Just watching them play, and I think you said it best. Their offense looks like a disjointed mess. There's like a chaotic mess, and nothing seems to flow off of anything. So I really don't see them as, like, this juggernaut. The Patriots and the Colts, they're sitting at the top, 7-2 each. Neither of those two teams really frighten me. So it's just Buffalo, even though they're 6-2, they have one less game than the Patriots. I think they're the cream of the crop in the AFC. Then you have like everyone else in that tier 2, and then outside of that, it's like the bottom feeders of the league. So I think, if someone could knock Buffalo off in the playoffs, it's a wide open game. It's a wide open field. And I think the team constructed as now can beat any of those teams. Because so far we have this year. The only one we haven't beat yet is Buffalo because we haven't played them yet.
I can only go
That's
by
why.
the last time we've seen any of these teams, and I know last time we played Kansas City,
Yeah,
which
I
was
know.
the
It was a
last
while.
game of the last year, we got romped, and I just are we built to beat that kind of team? I just don't know. I just don't know if we have the right pieces, because again, it seems like anytime we get a look at any of these squads, and we'll get we will get a look. We have Buffalo and we do have Detroit and these teams down the road, so we're going to get a look at how we do play against what I consider tier one teams, and we're going to get a feel. I mean, are we that much better? Have we made the adjustments and improvements that we made to be able to contend with those teams? Again, like you said, Mike, we haven't played Kansas City this year. We haven't played Philadelphia, so this year where we're at, you're right. It's hard to say, but we will get a chance to look. And I tell you what, if we go out and we look competitive against Buffalo, maybe my whole opinion will change, and it will go from there. But until then, we still haven't really done anything I think that's worth catapulting us. We're still kind of in this limbo that we were in. We're in a better part of the limbo. We're scoring more touchdowns. We're doing things better, but there are some areas that we did decline in as well, on the defensive side, for example. So we're working our way up. That's my only struggle, Mike. If we find teams that are coached really well, or that are just a top tier team, those are the things that worry me, and it just makes me say to myself, if you're going to go on, and you got to do everything that you got to do to be able to win those games that we are going to be playing this year. This isn't the near future or the past. These are games that are coming down the pike for us, and you got to put yourself in the best possible position to win those games, especially if you'd like to have any kind of a postseason.
Yeah, and early in the season, it looked like that Minnesota victory might have been like, yeah, they didn't have Sam Darnold this year, but they were looking really good going through it. We beat them, and they went on a little spiral, but then they come back last week and upset the Lions. So it's kind of hard to gauge where we sit based on the teams that we have beaten. Because, like you said, once we start going through the Colts schedule, it's going to be like, are they paper champs or not?
Right.
So, but then you look at like Minnesota, they're supposed to have this exotic offense and defense. It's confusing everyone, and we kind of figured them out for the rest of the league. It's hard right now to judge where everyone's at, which is weird to say in a week going into week 9 to week 10 of the NFL season, to where how good are some of these teams and how bad are you figure the bad teams have figured themselves out. Now it's like, who the elite teams are in the league. There's probably like 2 or 3. Then there's everyone else in that second tier. Then it's just trying to figure out the rankings of that second tier. And it's nebulous. It's week to week. 1 week the Steelers look like world beaters. The next they look like fools. Same thing with Minnesota. It's in Green Bay. It's hard to tell what's going on this year.
This is always kind of, and again, I mean, generally, it's just kind of been the Steelers' way, Mike. We win a lot of the games we should. We fall to a trap game, and we lose a couple games against teams we probably shouldn't beat. You could take that back to the New England teams of the early 2000s and a few other teams along the way, and even into the 90s. There was teams, the Buffaloes, you just weren't going to beat. They were just the best team in the highest tier, and we found ways to win a lot of football games during that period of time. We found the ways to be number 1 seeds. And number 2 seeds and get buys in those particular years. But when it comes down to that, playing that next tier team, it seems like we struggle to be ready and prepared and give those kind of teams a fight. Again, that's generally speaking. You can't say that about the Super Bowl teams. You can't say that about the really great teams. But generally, that seems to be the case. And I guess that's normal around the league. You beat teams that you should beat. Maybe you might get tripped up along the way and struggle against the good teams. But it really seems to be difficult. The Steelers were never able to conquer the Bills of the early 90s. They didn't beat them once in the playoffs during the Bills' time. They didn't beat New England. Come on, the success that New England had against us for 2 decades. So, these are the kinds of things that I would like to fix. It just makes me wonder, if you go 20 years, why aren't things getting fixed? What's wrong with this team? What's going on? How? Because again, I would consider us a pretty good team in general. I mean, we've done great things and always are pretty successful, and our numbers aren't the worst. So just those kind of things, and they just carry over from year to year to year to year. And I'm going to say it even back to the 80s. So, I mean, people can't even say I'm picking on the current head coach. This is a thing that we have to figure out how to do. It's a thing that teams have to figure out all the time in the league, how to do. If you're going to try to win a game against a team that's better than you, it's going to happen. There's going to be teams that are going to be better than you in your record along your path. We have to figure out how to put up a fight against those teams, because again, that Cincinnati loss was very embarrassing, and that was not a game that we should have lost. And I granted, Chase and Higgins are tough. They are very good. They got what they earned. They earned what they got. And but you know what? It's not a very good team. The defense is terrible. The offensive line is terrible. They've been proven to be terrible. And people talk about us winning with an older quarterback. They had an old quarterback too. So it was a very beatable team. So again, I just feel that if you can improve, you improve. But we're past that point. We can't complain. We can just only look toward the future. We got the Chargers coming up this week, Mike. It's going to be again. I think we win this football game. They have more problems than we do, and people were talking about injuries and our problems. Find me one team in the NFL that don't have injuries right now. Injury bug is the past 5 years has been insane. And for two, we're going to go down there. They don't have an offensive line. Both their bookends are they're both out. Both of their starting running backs are out. As long as you don't let Justin Herbert beat you, I think we have a very good chance. That defense is good. Last year, it was a defensive battle. Derwin James and Khalil Mack, I think, is down. Or they got some good guys on that defense. But I think, Mike, I feel confident. I feel more than 50% at this point that we could win this game on Sunday night.
I do too. I'm leaning that way. Their running back does not scare me at all. Kamini Vidal does not scare me. If he ends up killing us, we deserve to lose that game. Yeah, and they do still have Khalil Mack, and like Tomlin said, Derwin James, he's the straw that stirs that drink. He is still one of the best safeties in the league. Dude's a beast. He's everything that a lot of Yinzer fans thought Minka Fitzpatrick was. Derwin James he's a dog, but I think we can win this game. We force them to be one-dimensional, should be able to stop the run. Their line is, like you said, beat the hell back. Yeah, they brought in Trevor Penning, but he's never lived up to the hype. And I think this is the game where Keshawn Williams takes one to the house.
I would love that, man. We were so due.
Their special teams is one of the worst, if not the worst, in the NFL. And Williams is getting closer and closer every week, and this might be the breakout game. I think we beat this Chargers team.
And you know what? There's always this on the track, Mike.
It's not going to be easy.
Their coach has the same DNA as a coach that plays us twice a year. So, I mean, there's conversations being had. These guys are brothers. There's, so, you got to look at every little thing. And, if anybody knows us, it's the Baltimore Ravens. And if anybody knows the Baltimore Ravens, would be the head coach. That's the brother of the head coach. So, again, all those little things go into it. But I think, Mike, ultimately it's going to be a tough game. I think it's going to be tough because, again, their defense is good. Justin Herbert is there. And if we're not able to go in and do what we do, like we did this past weekend, and get pressure on the quarterback and make them make mistakes, it could be a tougher game. But this game is totally winnable, in my opinion. They're sitting at 6-3. We're 5-3. So, we're in that same tier. They have problems. We have problems. They're inconsistent. We're inconsistent. They have injuries. We have injuries. This, in fact, should be a good Sunday night game. What's that mean in Steeler terms? Probably 13-10. Just kidding. I think we'll score more points with the offense that we have now. But in general, when people turn it into a good Steeler game, that's what it ends out being is, like if you watch a Ravens Steelers, it's 17-14. A good game for the Steelers generally goes that way. So I think we win this, Mike. Again, we still have a few days to talk about it. It could change my mind, but at this point, I think that we legitimately have a good chance of being 6-3 this time next week and having another victory Monday. So if the guys believe in themselves, again, Jalen Ramsey getting the guys fired up in the locker room. That's a big story this week, Mike. How he just took over and something clicked. Apparently something clicked on that team, and they went out and again, say what you want, but I'm going to continue to use this term, be the best team in the NFL. I don't believe it, but that's the term that they shoved down our throat for months. But it's from what I see from watching football, they're certainly not the best team in the league, but we beat the best team in the league.
The best offense. The best historic offense.
I think Buffalo is the best offense now, but
and the Chargers have a really good offense. They have a top 5 total yardage. I didn't realize they were I'm just looking at it. I think they're top 5 in rushing. I did not realize that. I wonder if Herbert's getting a lot of their yards, but Vidal does not scare me.
Yes, he's the leading rusher.
Yeah, Gore Vidal, kind of like how Mahomes is over in Kansas City. So they have a really good scoring defense too. They're tied for 12th. They give up 3 less points than we do. They score 3 more points or 2 more points on offense than we do. So it's kind of an evenly matched game once you look at average of points per games given up and scored. What's might hurt us is they don't give up a lot of yardage, and they
They
put
got a
up a
good
lot
team,
of
man.
yardage. But if this defense plays the way they did last week, and the offense can Steelers can get a little bit of run game going on here, it's going to be an evenly matched game. But I think we do come out ahead.
Let's get back on the board. Mike Carr says this: if they think that they can make any splash with 4 tight ends, they are tripping. Tortilla says, in my opinion, we could have used a late 2026 pick or an early 2027 pick to get a wide receiver or a DB. Cody says, good luck moving up for Kenny Pickett 2.0. And I do want to say this. I have something interesting, an interesting number here, guys. Maybe you heard this, maybe you didn't. This is about our quarterback since Ben left. This is our touchdown leaders by the year they play. So let me give you an example. So Kenny Pickett in 25 games, or in his 25 games here, 13 touchdowns. So 13 touchdowns, 25 games. Russell Wilson, 11 games, 16 touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers, 8 games, 17 touchdowns.
Not bad.
It might, I mean, come on, that's
and you're seeing a big improvement too, coming from the red zone scoring.
Yeah.
Right there, his touchdowns, man.
I wonder, and again, keeping the defense off balance is certainly key. But I wonder what the thought process was. You have Jaylen Warren, who the guy bulldozes everybody. The guy is just a little beast. I would have went with him one more time on the goal line, even if you're going to go on it with 4th down. There was a couple incomplete passes right there that if they were caught, we would be singing their praises, but they weren't caught. Makes you wonder why they didn't give Warren one more shot with them legs. That guy, Mike, he's a bulldog. He had 2 touchdowns. I would have given him one more shot on that one. Again, it wasn't decisive. If we would have lost by whatever, that we would have had this conversation more. But again, the early going forward on 4th down and turning it over on inside the 5-yard line, I wasn't a big fan of that. I would have been a little bit more accepting, Mike, if they would have gave Jalen one more shot and then maybe tried to pass to Washington or whatever it was that they did. Yeah, they got a little pass happy inside the 5-yard line, and
I know, but I trust Aaron Rodgers a lot more than I trust the Steelers run blocking in that situation. I like the way the line's been playing, but I trust them more in the pass blocking than run blocking right now, and got to catch that ball, man. Got to catch that ball. But I get what you're saying. The way Jalen was running people over, Jalen is one of the best at yards after contact too. So why not give him a chance? But kind of split hairs at that point, because I have a feeling like if they ran for it and they missed it, I know I would be bitching. Like, you have 2 guys that are over 6'4", fucking throw it to one of those 2. I would be bitching about that. So.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you would have put DK Metcalf in that slot where Washington was, he might have caught that pass. The thing was, the guy, he's big. He threw it at his left kidney. So Washington kind of had to turn around into it. And, he's still young. He's still learning. If it would have been a veteran wide receiver or somebody that was a little bit more savvy of the position, who's not still in their early stages of the position, I think they might have caught that. But again, what happened had happened. Let's get back on the board here. Mark Malone says this. I don't know. I don't think there was anyone out there worth effing with. Field of Steel says Teflon Don already made his flatline career move, fellas. I told you this should be his last season. Tortilla says could have got that guy from the Saints. Corey says, okay, Mike. Hold on. Where are we at? Okay, Mike, that's fair. But why go out of our way to sign Aaron Rodgers and go get Ramsey and older defensive guys that have so much experience but are nearing the end of their careers if we aren't all in?
Because they're just trying to compete year in and year out. Aaron Rodgers is a free agent, did not cost us anything. We got Jalen Ramsey and Jonas Smith for one guy. That's the player swaps right there. They didn't give up anything to get those guys outside of DK Metcalf, So it's kind of kept in their philosophy of building for the future while remaining competitive. And if things fall their way, win a couple playoff games, maybe you fall into a Super Bowl. It's like they're still trying to build this team. It's not quite ready for prime time yet. They got pieces in there that look like they could potentially be ready for prime time, but they're not. And I think they know that and recognize that. And you don't want to throw away the future for a short-term gain. If you have a plan, you're going to stick to it. I think they kind of jump-started it a little bit, thinking maybe they might be a little further along than they were, and they realized, hey, we're probably not. So let's keep steady where we are. And, if we win, awesome. If, we kind of fall where we think we might be, we're okay with that because we have a plan in place and we want to execute that plan. I agree with our philosophy. I'm not 100% sure I do, but if that's our philosophy, go ahead and execute it. Don't fuck up your future, man, for a short-term success that might not be there. Because I just don't see this team as being ready to win a Super Bowl this year.
My approach is a little different to that. I'm all about where you're in the moment. Why don't you do everything that you can to win while you're in the moment? The future may never come. I mean, as weird as it sounds, that is reality. And if you're not doing your best to try to win now, yes, you do have to be mindful of the future. You have to be responsible with those pieces. But again, I think again, I don't know. I don't think that they were aggressive enough. I would have liked to seen a little bit more, but I wouldn't have wasted the bank by making those particular moves. Again, there's hundreds of guys they could have made phone calls to across the country. There's so many teams that are out right now that might have been more than willing to sell, again, because they're not in the race. There's a lot of teams that are already, you could count them out of it. So again, the argument goes both ways, but you have to mind both the future and the present.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what they were doing. So
I have a feeling if they would have won, say, against Cincinnati or Green Bay, sitting in a better position and have a better feeling about their team. And kind of like I said yesterday, how like when the Penguins went back to back, and they won all in those years because you can see and sense that team was ready to explode and take off. Whereas this team, it's been real, inconsistent. Now, if they would have won against Cincinnati or come back and blow out Green Bay, win this one, I could have seen them being probably like, okay, we're going to be major aggressive because look what we did against two of the best teams in the NFL. That Cincinnati game was a blip on the radar. It was a divisional game. And, not playing a really good game against Green Bay may have affected, their mindset in the evaluation of what you have. Where, we can be competitive, go into a playoff game, but do we have what it takes to win long term? I don't know. Maybe that's what the front office was thinking, like, hey, we might need more than what we could actually get. And if we get something, is that going to fuck us up in the future? So there could have been a lot of different thoughts that they could have been having.
So we'll just continue to be lame and we'll just continue to do the same thing over and over. I have no, whatever, we'll do that. A couple of things I do want to say, Mike. 80 missed tackles in the first 8 games of the season.
Yeah.
80. That average is 10 tackles a game the Steelers miss.
Yeah.
So, if you fix the fundamentals, maybe you're not more than one player away from being a really good team. Because again, we're not doing the fundamentals very well, and don't miss 10 tackles a game.
Yeah, like last year they were one of the better tackling teams in the NFL. That's why they were, for the most part, it was like towards the end of the year that you can see the tackling break down. And when that happens, when you're not getting the guy down, all of those extra yards just add up, keep drives going. But if you are a good short tackling team, man, you can hold teams to a lot of 3 and outs, man.
All right, we do got to move on. Tortilla says this, we could have used some of those picks and still traded Muth or Highsmith. And that's the thing, we'd had pieces. We have pieces too we could have used. There's guys I could certainly let go in the offseason to get those picks back if we needed. I mean, it's not wrong. Yinzer Joe says they are losers. Even one trade for an established veteran would have been worth it. There's a reason they call it the trade deadline. Do something as I poke it with a stick. Corey Beaver says this. He says, we brought the Super Bowl experience everywhere. For what? I mean, why do we even do that? If this is if they didn't feel it was going to be a team that could make a run, why even do that? I agree. We could have moved with Rudolph and Billy Bob on defense if we were only looking to the future and building draft capital was our goal. And as Mike says, they want to stay competitive, but on the other hand, we could have used a nice draft pick as well. I mean, not being that average for once could have been a nice thing had we went that route. Tortilla says this, I know I made jokes, but we couldn't even get Lazard for a 6th or 7th. This is he's an easy red zone threat for Rodgers. Mike Carra says this, all in. He's mediocre Mike for a reason. Vegas says Ike Turner was born on this date in 1931. Wow. Tortilla says Morgan Cox. He's 39, a perfect fit, plays defensive end. Vegas also says Art Garfunkel was born on this date, 1941. Yinzer Joe. Ike Turner was a pig. F him for beating and abusing Tina.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the first set of titties I ever seen was Tina Turner's titties when I was a kid. My friend's dad had the celebrity nudie mag, and it had Tina Turner with her pointy ass titties in there. One of my first set of breasts I've ever saw. Mike Cara says this. We're going to see if they can defend the pass this week. Christopher, hey, what's up, dude? Always great seeing Christopher on the board. Welcome. He says, guys, they will ramp up MVS and add him to the active roster, and he will score a touchdown on Sunday night. And you know what? He might catch the game-winning touchdown because Mike Williams also did the same thing in his first game last year against Washington, cut the game-winning touchdown, and barely seen any action after that the whole entire rest of the year. Gang, what's up, my bro? Always great seeing Jamal on the board, my man. Great show last night. Wes, what's up, Wes Hatchett? Always great seeing you too, dude. He says, what's up, fellas? I honestly don't think the Steelers know what they are doing. Vegas says, oh shit, we got more dates. Pele, 1962. Tatum O'Neal, 1963. Johnny Damon, 1973. Jerry Stackhouse, 74. Bubba Watson, 78. Nick Folk, 84. OBJ, 1992. All born on this date. Wow, November 5, huh? Mark Malone said I was discouraged. What's up, Somber? Great seeing you, bro. Mark Malone said I was discouraged when Dimes was dropping dimes at will early in the game. John says, what's up, John? Great seeing you, Big John Stud. Middle name Mud on the board. Always great seeing you, my man. He says, I hate when mom and dad fight. Mike Carr says, instead of living in hope for a splash play, as Mike Tomlin calls them, maybe we should focus on the fundamentals. But then again, that would actually take actual coaching. Somber says, no turnovers against the Pats would have been a law. Absolutely. They gave us, they literally gave us those turnovers. We actually fought for the ones the other day. New England was giving them to us. They were crossing the goal line and they fumbled on the half-foot line. I couldn't believe what was going on up in New England. Vegas is my favorite question for this season. Will the team to victory this season? I don't think so, guys, but I think we would all like to see him a little bit. But what do we want? Do we want to win? Do we want to be halfway successful as people are accepting it right now? And if that's the case, why wouldn't you go with the young guy to get him some experience? So what do we actually want? Do we want to win? Do we not want to win? Do we want to make a run? Do we want to get better? Do we want to save picks? I mean, there's a whole bunch of different directions that goes. It's hard to tell, guys. Also, Phil the Steel says when you make the opposing offense punt, that's a turnover, and the Steel offense doesn't answer with touchdowns. Finally, it's happening, but complimentary football hasn't been played. Mark Malone says this, only time will tell, my Nickas. Somber says Broncos have a great non-turnover centric defense, so do the Texans. Vegas says I'm not apologizing for winning. Tomlinson, number 1172. John says I agree with Ryan. Turnovers and splash plays come with luck. They can't rely on 5 to 6 to barely win against tougher teams. That's what I'm saying. It helped against this team. I'll give them that. But are you going to be able to do that against a team when you need to win? You got to find ways to beat all the teams. If we can, fantastic. If it happens and we make Buffalo turn the ball over 5 times to only beat them by 3, I'll be ecstatic. I'll come here and talk about I'll break it down. But Mark Malone, nothing wrong with drafting several quarterbacks. Yeah, ask Cleveland. Corey Beaver says the Jets are going to do some dumb shit and take a cornerback to replace Sauce when they could have just kept him because they won't give up on Justin Fields. Ratel 10, welcome to the show. Great having you on the board. He says this, another Tomlin hamster wheel season. Mark Malone and says, unless you're the Browns, there you go. Somber, Jets will draft Dante Moore and Caleb Downs. Watch. Bingo worked. Winchester, what's up, dude? Great seeing you back on the show. Love having you on the board. My man, he says, considering a Wilson jersey, I'm considering a Wilson jersey, but I'm afraid to. Got a Howard jersey for Father's Day, broken finger, missed preseason, Herbig jersey for Christmas, and immediately injured. Yeah, man. Why don't you get yourself a nice Josh Allen jersey? I think that would be nice. Christopher's my man. What's up, bro? He says DK played with the flu. And that's what I'm seeing, guys. A lot of guys are sick. A lot of guys, I'm hearing that DK was throwing up on the sideline at certain points. So, I mean, if you're wondering what happened with the 4 catches, 2 catches, whatever it was, 6 yards. He and a lot of other players were under the weather. Of course, Chucky Clark didn't play because of that, and Cole Holcomb. But that is what the scoop is. There's some virus, some illness going around the locker room. Hope it doesn't affect us this weekend. Somber says this. I hope he doesn't spread the flu. Literally, what I just, okay. He says, literally, I hope they don't spread the flu around the locker room. Yinzer Joe says, who are we kidding? The Steelers aren't going to draft good in the offseason. They just pick up a bunch of free agents to fill the roster. This sucks. Let me ask you this. Do we like what the approach of Omar Khan since he's been here? Do we like the extra action in the free agency pool in the offseason? Do we like adding the veteran players? Because, again, as I always say, this is something that's very alien. It's very distant from what Steelers are used to doing prior to Omar Khan, all the way back as far as you can remember. This isn't a team that would bring in big-name free agents. Do you like this better? Now, consider the success has been the same, recently. What we were doing these past couple years and the couple years prior, it's been basically the same success. Do you like this? Do you like the active GM? Or do you like the the older style, which of course got it done as well, in its own right? What do you guys like? Do you like the more aggressive or the older style of the Steelers? I don't think either of them's wrong. And again, both of them's been bringing us mediocrity for quite a few seasons now. So what do you suggest? What do you like, Mike? What do you like? Do you like the more aggressive? Now, here's the thing. I think I like the more aggressive just because it's been so conservative my whole life. I like the difference. I like getting a big name because when we were always seeing guys move around the league, we're going to go right through the draft. We're going to get this team together. We're going to build it from the ground up, which is a good, it's good, but it's just, again, when you see other players moving constantly, man, I would like to have that guy. Oh man, why can't we get somebody like that? Are you a fan of the new way or the old way? What do you think, Mike?
I'm a fan of the new way because just going through looking at the roster, all but one offensive lineman is homegrown. Isaac Seumalo. He was the only street free agent. Wide receivers, DK Metcalf's the only street free agent, and quarterback, Aaron Rodgers is the only street free agent. So it's like where they needed a whole plug, they go out and get them. Look at the defense too. You need some inside backer help. Let's go in free agency and get what we can because we had some really good guys on the outside, and the 2 young guys behind them, they got in the draft. Peyton Wilson, he's coming along. He's in a draft, but interchangeable with a couple of the guys who got in free agency. The back end, we've been having trouble drafting and developing. So let's go get established guys there. So where and when they are, what positions they are getting, you can see where they draft pretty well at, others where they don't. So it's being complementary to how you draft and develop. And, you have certain issues somewhere. Hey, we know we can get vets that can play at the position, and it's kind of working out, man. So, yeah, and you can tell where they've been focusing too on the draft, focusing a lot on the O-line. So we're spending resources on the O-line, D-line, and we're not going to be able to draft guys everywhere. So let's go out and plug free agents into those holes. And, you can kind of see where they're going to go free agency once you do the draft or where they go, or vice versa. See who they signed. You can tell what positions they're going to draft. What they draft, that's what, they're going to go elsewhere in free agency. So it's a good way to build the team. You can't just rely on the draft every year to get a guy.
I agree. I think
Every
it's going to be a
1
nice
through 7 is going to hit. It's hard. It's hard to get like 4 guys in the draft class,
especially when you're drafting at 20 every year. It's not like we even put ourselves in a good position to really benefit greatly from the draft as some of the worst, the not as good teams in the league. I just want to throw this out, guys. We were at halftime. I just want to give you this information. If you did not know, our new addition, of course, Juan Valdez or Marquez Valdez Scantling. He will be wearing number 11, guys. If you want to know, he is going number 11. So to look for, he's on the practice squad. Who knows when we're going to see him, but he will be wearing number 11. That is our new addition, Juan Valdez Scantling will be number 11. I think was that Kent Graham? Does he share a number with the great Kent Graham?
Well, wasn't Kent Graham 17?
I don't know, maybe.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, check that out. Vegas says this. Vegas says it would be hilarious if Kansas City missed the playoffs. And you know what? I'm thinking this too. Or if we could at least – what's that?
They're in danger, and Kent Graham did wear number 11.
Okay, so yes. Okay. So my thing is this. If we play well enough, get a 2 seed if we can. Get the 3 seed. outplay these other division leaders, which are Denver, Indianapolis, New England. Because here's the thing. If Buffalo gets that number one seed in their division, which I think they're ultimately going to do, I think because they still have to play New England, and they're just a better football team. New England's playing good. Don't get me wrong. New England's improved. They got a nice young quarterback, and they are a good squad. But I want to be as close to those teams in the bracket as I could possibly be. So if Buffalo's high, they get the automatic lowest seed no matter what in the second round. And then after that, they get the automatic lowest seed. So, if Buffalo's sitting at 1, I want to be higher on the list. Or Kansas City, if you don't think you could beat them, I want to be near them, hoping one of those teams get knocked out before we play them, because I think we can make a run. And it sucks to do that. It sucks to hope somebody else loses. But, it's kind of where we are right now. We're not a great team, but we are a good team. And if we could, fall ass backwards into a bed of roses, I'll take it. And if Buffalo could get upset by let's say Jacksonville or somebody they could get in the second round, or come on, we're sitting pretty. Which is, if people say, well, that's kind of a coward way. You know what? We did it whenever Tom Brady was out in the early 2000s. We wouldn't have probably won the Super Bowl that year had he not been injured. And sometimes that's just the way things go. So if I'm rooting for that, that's just, again, I'm just kind of looking at ways to possibly make it happen. And again, if we could get close to the teams that we fear, for the lack of a better term, I think the better off we're going to be, Mike, because again, you won't get them early. You won't get them in that second round game. You won't get them in the first round. You won't get that one and done. Get a little bit of momentum. Get a win under our belt. Move forward with a little bit of a push behind your ass, and then be ready to play one of those teams, maybe with a little bit of momentum going for you. Yeah. These first round games against these teams that are better, we have to do better in the regular season to win the seeding competition, Mike, because again, seeding's killing us. We're always on the road. We're always, playing higher seeds. I'd like for it to be a little different this year and take a shot at it that way. Again, maybe give us a chance just to get a little wind beneath our wings, if you will, under ourselves, so we could again maybe have that momentum, get the guys fired up. Maybe Jalen Ramsey goes off and just So again, that's where I be with that, Mike. Any comments before we do jump back on the board?
Yeah, because right now we're sitting fourth, and we do have wins over the Colts and the Patriots who are 1-2.
You know what else? Well, real quick, our only losses are NFC and the Bengals. So that helps. The two NFC losses are not the worst things in the world.
Exactly. Yeah, and so like conference wise, we're 4-1, and two teams above us are 4-2, and the Colts are 6-1. But we have the advantage over them because we have the head-to-head tiebreaker.
Right.
So like, if we can finish in, like you said, that 1 or 2 seed, that would be perfect. Because 2 seed, you're playing Jacksonville in the first round.
Right. Because right now we're playing Buffalo.
Yeah, right now we're playing Buffalo, and if we play, play the Chargers this week, they're the 6th seed right now, so we beat them. We've beat almost half of the playoff teams in the AFC, and so you're in this team's fucking weird, bro. It's fucking weird. It's weird.
I agree. Let's move on. A lot of comments today. Thank you, everybody. We're happy to see everybody the day after the trade deadline.
776 comments yesterday, guys.
Wow.
You guys are on fire.
You guys were fucking awesome. Thank you, guys. Mark Malone says, I told you some bitches we could beat Kansas City and Buffalo. I hope you're right, dude. I don't, I don't want to say that you're wrong. I want you to be right. I sure hope that we can, and we'll get that opportunity here in a few weeks. We get Buffalo for sure. Mike Carr is saying, I'm not sure we can make the playoffs. Somber is saying McCarthy looked impressive. John said the Steelers will need to win 3-4 playoff games before to win the Super Bowl. I wouldn't bank on them getting 5 turnovers in each of those games. And that's what, and I really got that. I kind of adopted the argument because Ben said the same thing on his podcast, and it was kind of how I felt. And I just thought to myself, it's going to be difficult to, you can't expect your defense to try to do that every game and be successful. So, I mean, that was where my argument earlier was coming from. Also, RB, what's up, dude? Great seeing RB on the board. RB says Jacoby Myers is asking for 5 years, $17.5 million. He's not close to being worth that. I'm glad we didn't. I agree. When it's all said and done, I agree. The thing was, I didn't love Jacoby Myers. I wanted him because I felt that could have been an improvement in our passing game, and I would have taken it and dealt with it. But listen, I'm not in love with Jacoby Myers. Believe me. If I was going to look around the league, he wouldn't be one of my favorite guys. Wouldn't be one of my top guys. Somber says this, at least for his first game. Let me right here. Sorry, Vegas says right they could win every game or lose them all. Somber says at least for his first game back. Corey says one thing to keep in mind is that we did beat Indianapolis in convincing fashion. Indy scored a lot in what you could call a garbage time on the scoreboard. It was closer than it actually was. Vegas says this. I like wide receiver Chris Bell from Louisville too. I'll tell you what, Louisville puts out a nice crop of players. They always do.
There's a lot of good receivers in this draft coming up.
There really is. Corey says this. Mediocre teams don't do that against top-tier teams. We just struggle with consistency. RB says everyone's so high on this Ohio State wide receiver. He's not really anything special. In NFL terms, he's just a monster next to these college kids and outsizes them. He will be okay at best in the NFL. I got to get a look at this guy. I hear a lot of talk. I haven't checked him out yet.
Ohio State's been having a lot of really good track records with wide receivers, so it's kind of hard to bet on them. But it's dumb to scout the helmet and think automatically you're going to be good because you come from this university or bad.
Yeah, that's a dumb way to
that position. That's a derpy move right there.
Very derpy. That's a very derpy move.
But it is kind of hard right now to bet against Ohio State wide receivers.
Wes says this. Wes Hatchett says, hold on now. Corey says our problem is our coaching preparation. As long as things go as planned, that's how we win. If things happen that we didn't anticipate, we fall apart. That's coaching, not talent. Wes says turnovers are a bonus and should not be a necessity to win. I agree. You could go weeks without having a turnover sometime. It's the nature of the game. Scott, what's up, dude? Great seeing Scott Atkins on the board. My man, always great seeing you on the board. He says Steelers need to show that they have turned the corner by beating a short-handed Chargers. You're right. You can't fall to this Charger team. This is kind of again, like as I always say, yes, this is the biggest game of the year, the game that's in front of you, but it's very important. We lose this game, we go 1-3 in this last 4 games, and that's a quarter of your season. And you look at those 4 games and you say, okay, why are we 1-3? So this is a really big game. It truly, honestly, is for the Steelers. Is it do or die? No. But again, when you're breaking it down, this is a big game. He says Chargers team on the road. Steelers have struggled against shorthanded teams in the past. John says the Colts could have been easily 8-0 before playing the Steelers. They finally had a bad game. Using that as a measure for either team's playoff success doesn't work for me. Somber says just means we get to beat a hardball 3 times this year. Babe, beating them hardballs is fun, man. If we could beat them 3 times,
hell yeah, it is.
It'd be awesome. Scott says
I hate the hardballs.
I do too. You know what? We always have great success. We have good success against Jim. We beat him in that 95 AFC Championship game. The one where he had the Hail Mary. And then the following year, we knocked them out in the first round, 40-14. And if you remember, Jim Harbaugh's chin was all bloody and his mouth was bleeding. And he wanted to have nothing to do with the Steelers. Love to beat the Harbaughs. Never changes. Never gets less fun. Also, all right, so Scott says this. He says Steelers need to learn how to beat. But where am I at? Oh, there it is. Yes, Scott says Steelers need to learn how to run the smash mouth ball control offense when they get the lead. I don't like watching garbage points. And I said that a couple weeks ago, and I think they know this for the most part. What I think? I think the factor is in this. It's Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean? If you have a quarterback who's not Aaron Rodgers, you're probably going to be running the ball more in the second half. And I went on a little bit about that last week. How I didn't think that the running the ball they could have been running the ball more. I think that really comes down to Aaron. I really do. Coaches and coordinators, they say, you know what, this is smart, but you know what, Aaron Rodgers, with what he knows and what he could do just as being the savvy veteran and future Hall of Famer, I think that is going into some of these decisions as well, Mike. And sometimes they work, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
John says the NFL media will jump on any team other than Kansas City, Buffalo, or Philadelphia. The more teams folks thinks are in the mix, the better. Christopher says with Juan Valdez on the field, they can't double DK. He's fast and can stretch the field. He will open up the middle of the field so DK and our tight ends can eat. When do we expect to see MVS, guys? Mike, when do you expect to see MVS? Again, going to the practice squad. They were comfortable with Duggar because he moved fluently on the field, is what Tomlin said. He liked his fluency of how he moved. How long is it before we see MVS?
MVS hasn't played all season long, so I think it's going to be a while. It's going to be a while.
I agree.
His last snap of football, I'm sorry, was 9/7/2025.
9/7. Couple months. Last month.
Yeah.
Beginning of the year, first week of the season.
Or he did not. He has for the year, I think, like 4 catches.
All right. Yeah, that sounds like the first game because I think we started on the 7th.
Yeah, he's played a couple games. Yeah, he's done nothing.
Bingo says unpopular opinion here. We need to get away from the garbage time stuff. While we're saying garbage time, they're roaring back into the game and driving to tie. You know what I mean? Without JPJ's interception. And I want to say this as well. Did anybody see this? Uncle Debo and Uncle Joe Hayden pulled little Joey aside and gave him some advice before going into the game this week. Of course, we did have all the alum there for the Super Bowl 40 team, and Uncle Harrison, Uncle Debo, and Uncle Hayden. They gave him advice, Mike, and he might have taken it. He said this. They said this to him. They said, you can rely on your speed. You know, sometimes you use the hands to not lose the player. They said you got skills, you got special skills. You made it to the NFL as a cornerback for a reason. Use your speed, you'll be successful, and you'll just continue to get better. And Uncle Debo and Uncle Joe Hayden, two guys, and I would take advice from as far as football. I don't know if anything else in life, but for sure for football.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
and if James Harrison threatens him to watch his back or to watch his back, I doubt JP gets another pass interference the rest of the season. I mean, look what Chris Boswell has done after he got
yeah. Or he's like, hey man, you get another pass interference. You know, I'm going to pretend you're my baby mama trying to baptize my baby. Boom, boom, boom. Got my eye on you, Debo.
Bingo says this with the D like this, there is no garbage time. Somber says this. Whoa, the Chargers almost lost to the Dolphins. Where was I for that? I smoked too much. Hey, listen, they had a couple nice
tough one against Tennessee, right?
What's that?
They played Tennessee last week and barely won.
Yeah, 27-20. Same score we beat the best team in the league by. They beat the worst team in the league by the same exact score, 27-20.
Yeah, and it was down to the wire too.
Somber says this: the Steelers are best at staying relevant while rebuilding. Been rebuilding for a decade. LOL. You're right. I agree, at least. Vegas says, how do I throw away my garbage can? How do I throw away my garbage can? John says the Steelers are telling us that they aren't all in this year through their actions, not words. This is a good question here, guys. I have it on my list, and Somber, I'm going to highlight your quote, your message. We're going to talk about it for a second here. Asante Samuel Jr. visiting the team 3 times. Steelers Asante Samuel Jr. visiting 3 teams today. Steelers aren't one of them. Is Asante Samuel Jr. Now, I know a lot of people would be interested in this move. Is this something that we should have, or maybe still should be a little bit more aggressive, Mike, with this corner?
I'm torn.
Me too.
Right? I like him, but coming back from spinal fusion, that makes me take pause.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds terrible, right? I don't even know.
It sounds terrible. You know, it's one wrong hit, one wrong tackle, falls wrong. Like,
well, let me ask you this, though. Like, if he does, that's bad, and we lose him. But if he doesn't, I mean, you're giving the guy a chance to play. He plays. He ends up having a good career. We could always say any of these guys could get hurt seriously on any given play. So, I would want to have him. I would like to have Asante Samuel Jr. But again, I know it's controversial one way or the other. I know either you really do or you really don't. So,
for like a fan standpoint, like go sign him, man. Like, because like you said, worst case scenario. But they're like just thinking from their perspective, like, do we want someone who has a major injury concern like that when we already got one of the guys we want to play has fucking major injury concerns. We want to get another one of those guys.
And we haven't
had a great track record with injuries recently.
I was going to say, what are we thinking? What are you
He'd fit right in with the boys.
We have half our team has the same exact problems. We sign them and we keep re-signing.
I know,
them.
Right? As I'm speaking, I'm thinking, Corey Trice can say, hey man, we're going to spend a lot of time in this room right here. Get to know the trainers before you even get to know any of the coaches or your playbook. Figure out what the training table is, bro.
How unfortunate. I love me some Corey Trice, but I just don't think he's going to make it, Mike. I just don't think he's going to make it. Poor guy. Not even for the Steelers. I'm talking about just in general in this league.
Wherever he goes, if the Steelers move on from him, I think he's going to end up back in the same situation.
And there's always guys that have this. There's always guys that just can never stay healthy. He's one of them, unfortunately. Again, I would have loved to see him get a taste of what the Trice career could have been like had he not been injured from day one, since he was drafted number 6th round in that draft.
Yeah, those small sample sizes were good. They were good samples, man. It make me want to go back to Costco's and go back around, throw them in my cart, buy them in bulk. But
I know.
just keep getting food poisoning.
All right, let's get back to the board. All right. Thank you for that comment. I was thinking, I'm wondering the same thing myself. Somber. John says, agree, Mike. They know what playoff time it is. They know what playoff time it is right now. Somber says, get a bigger can and drop that fucker in Las Vegas. Yinzer Joe says, Caleb Johnson needs to get more involved, but I don't trust him. Like I want Roman Wilson to play, but don't trust him. You know what, these rookies and these mistakes, they're rookies and they're rookie mistakes. That's what they actually have the name. People, this is a common term, right, guys? Rookie mistake. I refuse to blackball any of these players, guys, because again, Caleb Johnson made a mistake. And Roman Wilson, he made a mistake. But other than those mistakes, I think Roman Wilson looks pretty good. He doesn't drop passes. He's gotten a lot of gains, everything all the way since that preseason game, like where he had 97 yards on 4 catches. I've been on board. My thing is this. Aaron Rodgers, now he's gaining more trust in Roman Wilson. This is what it said. He's gaining more trust in Roman Wilson behind the scenes. To me, it seems like Aaron Rodgers is like the Illuminati. You gotta be like a Freemason. You got to be a Freemason to get passes from this guy, and you got to go through layers and 33 degrees, and it seems like
Roman Wilson's gonna have that left eye covered.
You're right. He's gonna have the black eye next week, and they're gonna say, "Wow, is Roman Wilson hurt? He has a black eye." Nope, he just joined Aaron Rodgers' Illuminati, because again, Aaron Rodgers can seem to be a little picky, I guess you could say at time when he's looking at his targets. But you know what, the guy's passing better than our last couple quarterbacks, so we're gonna roll with it for now, knowing that the future is coming. We're gonna be shopping and looking and drafting and all kind of things. Mark Malone says we got to keep our lone white end. We have to keep our lone white end. I like Muth. I don't have a problem with Muth. He's a good piece too. If you're trying to get something of value, I wouldn't trade Muth for nothing. If we were getting something of value, I could consider Muth and Highsmith and players like this, but I don't want to give them away for nothing.
If I'm trading Muth, I want someone who has like a similar contract length.
You're right.
I'm not trading Muth for a rental. He signed for the next 2 to 3 years, I think, or 3 to 4 years. I want someone signed at least 3 years, and I don't think any receivers on the move were in that range.
Vegas says, if a fetus is a human life, then why, when they are born, we not say they are 9 months old? I think you have to see vagina before you get the. It's like the gun shooting off in a race. Once the vagina is visible to all, that's when you start keeping track.
Vagina is visible to all.
Phil is still. He says, "Wait, Vegas is now teaching us history on this day. He just becoming PBS." Excuse me. RB says Pittsburgh Panthers to propose plans for a stadium and facility at Pittsburgh Mills. Anyone else hearing this? No, I like it. I don't know if I'd have to look into that location, but we need a stadium. There's no two ways about that. There's just no space in Oakland, so I believe it if it's what's being. That's what they're saying. Bingo says this Tina Turner's titties like speed bags. They were these pancake titties with these pointy ass nipples, man. My first titties I ever seen. I kid you not. John says Ryan has a sick mind that never forgets anything about his sex history, but can't remember. That's 100% true. I could tell you something from 3rd grade. Uh-huh. Ask me where I just put something before we went on the show. Good luck.
Ask him to name the Steelers starting quarterbacks from last year.
Yeah, exactly.
Justin Wilson.
This is coming from a guy that literally loses his keys every time he puts them down in the box next to me here. I've never seen somebody lose their keys like you. I swear to Pete, I've never.
I set them down one place in the studio, and they're never there when I go back to grab them.
Vegas says Steve Kerr named his son Nick. I think this is actually true, isn't it? I've seen it.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Nick Kerr. Yes. Yeah. We might have said that when we were pranking people as kids. I don't know.
Oh God, on SNL when they make each other read their jokes.
Oh, the white guy and the black guy.
The white guy had to go. I love Steve Kerr, but I have to say I hate Nick Kerr. Yeah. Like, oh my God,
that is actually funny because the other guys over there just laughing
his ass off.
I
He's like, "You're
agree.
gonna get me killed."
See, I don't like this show anymore, but I like that. That's
The weekend update with those two, they're so stupid. I love it.
Let's see, Vegas. I'm sorry, 007. What's up, bro? He
What
says,
up?
I'm a fan of Mark Robinson. I'm glad to see him back. You know what? I am too. The guy's a hammer. You know, and he's a special teams guy for now. Probably your last line of defense as far as the middle linebacker goes. But you know what? He's been a Steeler since he's been drafted a couple years now, and you know they'll continue to bring players in front of him. So that just goes to show me he's your special team guy. I like him. He's a hammer, and if he could cause turnovers, Mike, certainly we could use the turnovers.
If he could cause turnovers, maybe start him, baby.
Oh, right here, Vegas says this. I was throwing up watching DK play as my fantasy team lost. Mike, and you even had you had Danny Dimes for your
I had
fantasy
Danny
team.
Dimes, but I forgot I must have made a drunken maneuver where I ended up starting Herbert over Danny Dimes.
Okay, that's right.
Because I had Danny Dimes in there at first, and then I had like a change of heart because I'm like, I'm going to be watching the game. I'm going to have a big rooting interest. I can't root for him to have a good game and my Steelers defense to have a good
That's
game.
hard to do.
Cancel each other. So like, no, I'm just going to move them on. Like, there's no if there was money involved in it, I probably would have left him in there thinking he was going to carve us up.
Scott says this. He says Steelers will score more points when they stop just missing on execution. Jonnu Smith might have been a touchdown. MVS will help when they sell out to stop 12 personnel. He will get some playoff touchdowns. Just wait. I hope you're right.
I hope you're right.
Somber said only time will tell. Everything is pending on this draft. That better be a good one. You're right. This is, you know, as we look at it, probably one of the bigger drafts ever. It's certainly
make or break.
It is make or break. Tortilla says, I like when Khan is aggressive because he hasn't really made a deal where he's overpaid. You're right. A lot of time we get the deal, but a lot of time, is it worth it? Is it, you know, we're getting the same amount of, we're getting the same kind of results from the team year after year. So are these moves that he's making, are they worth it? Let's go right here. Yinzer Joe. I think Khan has made his mark, but I feel like he took some negatives from Kevin Colbert. He does something positive, then backtracks the next time. Mike, you followed Kevin Colbert. What's your take on that comment?
Yes, yeah, because
Okay.
he was a Kevin Colbert disciple, but I was never big. I was a big fan of Kevin Colbert early, but he stayed on way too long and started getting too cute with himself. Omar, you can see like some of his later picks kind of remind me of those Omar Khan picks.
Okay.
I get those later on guys are, you know, just going to take a while for them to develop, but you know, he hasn't done like the Matthias Kiwanuka type pick or the Kendrick Green type picks where you're totally baffled. He's doing those later in the draft, whereas Colbert would do those in third and fourth rounds. But I know what you mean. I see it too, and it makes me antsy.
Vegas says this, haven't had a wide receiver 2 for a year and a half, minus the little while DK was on the team with GP. Somber says Van Jefferson Scantling. We should have kept Robert Woods or whoever.
Yeah, Bobby Trees, baby.
Yinzer Joe says wasn't 11 Claypool's number. I think it was.
Yes, it was. That's what when Ryan said that, I'm like, please just don't do a first down when we're fucking trying to drive to get a game-winning touchdown.
Mark Malone says probably no. Buy that jersey. He says Vegas says will he be able to jump on a moving train? Bingo says Exxon Valdez leaking. Mark Malone says they illegal invaders working on Exxon Valdez. Bingo says Juan Valdez sipping. Tortilla, next year's draft better be good. Yeah, Phil, man, that was he told me after the show. I didn't even realize it, man. I didn't even realize that on the comments from yesterday. Again, awesome guys, we appreciate it. Corey says this, I think we finished 4-2 in the division, and that loss to Cincinnati will hurt us winning the division, but only one loss in the AFC is nice to see. We're not so good against the NFC right now. I guess if you're going to lose them, the NFC is the way to go. I mean, that's one of the, you know, the further down tiebreakers. Cody says this. Cody says there probably should be like 6 or 7 teams worse than us that are going to get QBs next year. Hopefully we get an offensive weapon for once. All of our picks go to the offense and defensive line. I know it's a need, but kind of boring. Cody follows it up by saying, who should we draft from Penn State, Mike? Who would be the big name out of Penn State from this draft?
See, you got Denny Dennis Sutton, but he doesn't fit our scheme. Katron Allen and Nick Singleton. I'll take a look at one of those guys.
They're running backs.
Yeah. Even though like those two dudes should have came out in the draft last year. James Franklin screwed those guys over by convincing them to come back. Their draft stock's falling, not because of their fault. Team around them sucks. But those two guys right there, definitely the running backs. They got a couple DBs I would take a look at too.
Tortilla says if Tate went to Penn State, Drew Allar would still have a job.
If Cardell Tate went to Penn State, he would be transferred after his freshman year. He'd be like, "This guy plays sucks. I'm out."
Somber says the Steelers are signing defensive tackle Broderick Martin from the Chiefs practice squad for Aaron Wilson. Alan Saunders is reporting. That's probably somber. Cody says that Randy Moss and Marshawn Lynch could play there at the same time, and Allar still wouldn't have a job.
Exactly.
Vegas says somber cool with the 96th pick in the 23 draft by the Lions, 6'5", 326. Not mad at adding giant dudes. We need, again, I'll take some defensive line help at this time. Somber says probably CMVS against the Bengals. Tallman wants to get him up to speed. Yeah, we do, man. We got the Bengals next week. So it's going to get interesting. It's going to get interesting, man. Mark Malone says, I doubt if they take him off the squad. Interesting. Cody says, MVS, the answer to all of our problems. Thank God we got him. I don't know what we would do without Juan Valdez-Scantling. RB says, Steelers signed nose tackle Broderick Martin from Kansas City practice squad, 6'5", 332. But that is a big guy. Put him up here with Y.A. Black. Holy shit. Talk about some big human beings. Broderick Martin. Also, Yinzer Joe says MVS needs to jump on a moving train. Routes are routes and coverages are coverage. It's just different terminology. Mark Malone says, what about Uncle Tomlin? Oh, yeah. It is Mark. Let's see. Also, Tortilla says, Uncle Tomlin stole my bike. Cody says, did the uncles teach JPJ how to catch a football? Because that was that first one hit him right in the chest. Ramsey was behind that play, licking his fingers because he could have caught it. Mark Malone says, stole Juju's too. Cody says, Tortilla, that's my bike, punk. That's my bike, punk. Or wait, yeah. Hey, man, what's Red say? Hey, man, you think I can get my bike back? My dad wants me to ask for my bike back. Devo's like, what bike? It's like the beach cruiser.
Man, he tripping.
That's the beach cruiser, man. It could be like both of ours, but we keep it in my house. My bike, punk.
That movie is great.
Probably the best movie ever, in my opinion. So far, a whole lot of different things. Jamal, great to have you back, dude. Talking a little bit about the things that never happened, I guess, from yesterday. Seems to be a lot of the conversation. What you got on my 40, homie? Scott says Steelers want a good receiver on rookie deal to pair with DK to have some have money for needs instead of the same position. They might have done it if the Dolphins weren't smoking crack. Of course, everybody was interested in Jalen Waddle. They wanted a little bit too much, I think, for that young man. Tortilla says, Cody, I'm just kidding. Tomlin can't ride a bike. Scott says the market wasn't a good buyer market this year. I don't blame Con for passing on the trade deadline. Teams wanted too much. I would agree.
A lot of first-round picks flying about.
Yes.
That's like when that Sauce Gardner one came out, and then the Quinn and Williams, all those first-rounders. Like, holy shit!
I went to the very end real quick on my other screen here. I seen Somber. You want something that's too old, man? No. Corey says this. I think Asante Samuel is ready to go. We don't know how long he's been in recovery. He's going to be hungry, and he will be ready. He'll be playing to be relevant again. He's going to be a dog. If he's anything like his old man, he's okay. Jamal says Tomlin knows magic, performs miracles, and speaks fluent Ebonics. Tomlin's the GOAT. Cody says Mike T for life. I think he's giving it to Jamal there, but you know what? Some would agree with that for sure. Also, Yinzer Joe says Samuel had a neck shoulder stinger that lingered. That's why he had surgery. He played through it, but it was ultimately uncomfortable and needed fixed for him to continue playing. Scott says at this point, Asante can't be any more fragile than Corey Trice. And we keep paying his ass.
Put them both in bubble wrap.
DBs need to start jumping routes when they have the lead and not teams march down the field. Jamal says, now I know you're trolling Cody Silva, but welcome to the dark side. Cody said Pat Fryermuth will score more career touchdowns than George Pickens.
Oh, damn. They fighting words between those two.
Vegas, I remember this game like it was yesterday. Barry Foster went on to have a good career too after he let the kickoff sit on the field for the 49ers. It was the first game of the year. It was the very first game of the year that year, early 90s.
I hate it.
Somber says, got to be white-sided to be on Rodgers, be one of Rodgers' wide receivers. Tortilla says, I saw Mike Tomlin walking across the Ohio River before the Colts game. Jamal, well, he did want Odell Rodgers. He might be Illuminati. Yeah, you never know, dude. You never know with these people. GP the GOAT. Christopher McLinn, I do want to say welcome to the show. Welcome to the board. Great having you on. He says, why are we trading Muth? If anything, trade Jonnu. Dude doesn't block in his route. You know what? I ultimately agree with that. And that was my argument yesterday, and I've kind of been bringing this up recently. I'm certainly not satisfied. I'm not thrilled with Jonnu Smith. I was under the impression that this was going to be a little bit more of a productive player, a little bit more of an athletic player. And I don't know. Again, if you're looking at what Muth has done and what Jonnu's done, I'm leaning toward Muth for sure. And I thought that it was going to go the other way just because I'm an athletic player, but I'm just not seeing that. A lot of catch, get straight down, get tackled right on the spot. And I would love for Jonnu to do something to prove me wrong and to show me that but come on, have you seen anything, Mike, that's thrilled you about Jonnu Smith at all?
Nothing at all. Like we're getting we're not getting the good Jonnu Smith. I think we're getting like the Jonnu Smith that we saw, I think, in New England, where he was not that productive. We're not getting Miami Jonnu Smith. We're not getting Tennessee Jonnu, where he was more productive than what he is now. I'm very underwhelmed with him. I was expecting more. I thought he'd be a good receiver to hit up the seams. Him and Fryermuth running in the middle of the field. I thought that would be a scary tandem that teams would have trouble defending. And like you said, man, most of Jonnu's catches are like 2 yards fall down.
I know.
For a gain of 4, 4 yards fall down for a gain of 4. And that big drop at the beginning of this game, that was designed for him. It was there, the right call and everything. He catches that ball. He's still running. If he catches that ball. So I've been very disappointed in Jonnu. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not here next year.
I would agree, and ultimately, I think Christopher, the verbiage, the talk, the language on Muth is just because he has more value. If I'm going to be willing to give up a decent player, and you're going to add players, I personally, just again by looking at their numbers this year, I mean, Muth just had 3 touchdowns in the last 3 games. He didn't have much early on in the season. He had to work his way up the Aaron Rodgers Illuminati pyramid to get him, but he's there now. Again, 3 touchdowns in the last 2 games. You got to like what Muth is doing. That long one, that 2 games ago. So again, I think maybe the language is being because the value seems higher of Muth right now. Nobody's really crazy about Jonnu Smith, and it's kind of a shame because I was really banking on that, especially not having a wide receiver too. I thought, okay, well, if Jonnu Smith is this athletic tight end, then we could rely on that for playmaking, open field breaking tackles, open field. Then now we're talking, but we're just not. So again, kind of a letdown, and I think maybe just that might be what it was. Because Christopher, if I'm putting together a package, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get rid of Jonnu Smith right now. Again, if I want something of value, I think Muth or Alex Highsmith could certainly be good leverage for that. So maybe that's what.
Who would have thought that Meatwad could be contributing more to the team than Jonnu Smith?
Yeah, right.
Like, I'm not even trying to be funny.
No.
It's just I just did not see it out of the little guy. And, I'm happy for him, but I just did not expect this from Meatwad this year.
I know. Of course, if you're just joining, Meatwad is Connor Hayward. Corey says he's also dropping a new video today at 4:30 about Charlie Kirk. Go check out Corey's work, guys. He's right here on YouTube. He's also a few different places. I know he's on X, formerly known as Twitter. Go check out his podcast, guys. Don't Drink That. It's a conspiracy theory podcast. Really good stuff. Keep up the good work. Go check him out. Cody says, I lose my cell phone all the time at my house. Alexa, call my phone. Number 1 thing the government hears besides porn. Jamal says, yo, Corey, I haven't been able to find the channel. You know what, Corey? I just think it's working its way into the algorithm, and it's going to it'll take a little time. And we had that trouble at the beginning as well.
Yeah, we did.
Just keep doing, like I said earlier, just keep going. Don't let things discourage you. You're doing what you love. Guys, keep looking for them. Again, I think it's working its way through the algorithm, because I'm seeing the same thing, Jamal, and I think this is what's going on. Corey says, let me post a link for you, bro. One moment. Also, Vegas says this: I think Aaron is going to want to come back next year. I do too. I think it's a very good possibility Aaron Rodgers comes back next year.
All depends on how the season plays out.
I know.
That's going to be a big determination.
Vegas says this. He says, for Colbert, for years, Colbert tried to use 11 hairs to cover up his entire male about pattern baldness.
Just got to embrace it, buddy.
Corey says, I don't know why an actual link isn't popping up for me, but that's what I got straight from my channel. Mark Malone, I don't know why dudes don't just embrace the skullet at Vegas. I swear to God, I will grow one if I ever go bald. Mark Malone he's partial. He likes the skullet.
Mark Malone, you don't have to go bald to grow the skullet, man. You can just shave it. Shave it, man. Shave it and grow out the skullet.
Derpy, I don't know. He'll be here tomorrow. I don't have an answer for that.
Derpy just shows up when Derpy wants to show up. Must be nice.
You want some of this too, old man? No. Somber. Cody says, Debo voice. You want some? Yes, absolutely. I can't see the scene without hearing Debo's voice saying that. OBJ likes men. OBJ, let's see. Sambu, John had a decent catch in a curl last game for first. Besides that, and that seam pass he caught earlier the year, he's been pretty ghostly. And again, it was such a selling point on why we didn't have a number 2 receiver, is because we have all this talent at tight end. And we're gonna Arthur Smith, he's gonna do what he did with Tennessee, and the tight ends are just gonna be taking over the league, and nobody could even they're not gonna be able to figure out our offense. Scott says you have to come to Aaron's shroom party to get on his catch list. Wilson might have made it, but he fumbled his invitation. MVS is very shroom-eccentric already. All right. Mark Malone, the Fry Daddy, has to make some of those grabs, and he dropped early on. You know what? There was 2 drops early on, and I'm going to admit to that. And I'm going to say, if you look at his numbers, guys, he literally has the best tight end numbers of any Steeler tight end from the beginning of his career, which has only been 3-4 years now until this point. He did drop 2 passes early in the season. I didn't think that was enough for them to lose favor, because again, Pat Freiermuth has been one of the only consistent targets, Mike, over these past couple of years. Deontay Johnson forgot how to catch footballs, and the Van Jeffersons and all these other problems that we had. So I knew it was just a matter of time with Pat Freiermuth. Again, the guy, he's a solid football player. He could block, he could catch. The block was the other thing. The guy that he let blow by him on the field on the extra point. So those 2 things, I agree, they were bad plays. But again, he's not bad. I think that Pat Freiermuth could be very valuable, and I think he's proved that the past couple of weeks.
He my God, definitely in that Bengals game, big time. Without him, that game's not even close.
Yeah, he scores. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, those 2 big touchdowns and the big touchdown last week too. And I think that big drop was against Seattle. We chucked it downfield, and we there was a penalty on the play, but if you would have caught it, we've been within the 5-10 yard line. Could have changed the complexion of the game. And he also has had some big fumbles early in his career too that lost us some games. So, but the past couple of years, he has been the most dependable guy that we have on the offense. You need something, you throw it to Freiermuth over the middle, he's going to get you the yardage.
Let's go to Somber. Somber says you can't post a link unless you're a mod. YouTube auto mods it, follows it up by saying unless it's changed in the settings.
I'll find your channel and I'll post it for you, bud.
Cody said I seen George Pickens' interview with Dallas where he talked about how Pat Freiermuth taught him how to catch a football. That's probably why Pat is better. Somber says, well, Nightbot, not YouTube. Vegas says Don Rickles had one of the worst mud flap comb overs ever. Somber says, let me see. Craig, if somebody comes, whistle. Yeah. I liked when Smokey was jumping in Stanley's window and Debo smacked him on the ass. It was like Aaron Rodgers getting smacked in the ass the other day because he was having trouble getting into the window, and as soon as Debo smacked his ass, right in he went. Mark Malone says he dropped some at the end of last year too. Mark Malone said Friarmuth. A couple of other things we're going to get into, guys, as we are at this point in the show. You do see Mike does have the link up for Corey there, so go check that out. Don't drink that. Is what Corey is promoting. This is his podcast, guys. It's a conspiracy theory podcast. Go check him out. Mike, this is the list of players this season. It has at least 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 interception. TJ Watt. Say what you want about the underachieving, highest paid player on our defense, Mike, but TJ Watt is the only player in the NFL that has at least 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 interception. Mike, name the players that have 4.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 interception. TJ Watt, Nick Herbig.
No shit.
Yeah. There's only 2 players in the league that has at least 4.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 interception. They're called TJ Watt and Nick Herbig. So, yes, TJ isn't living up to what we believe, his standards should be, but, he's still doing something that nobody else in the league is able to do. So maybe that's what it means to be better than everybody, Sometimes it doesn't look as uniformed as everybody else. He's doing things that, again, come on, guys. 5 sacks for him, 2 forced fumbles, 1 interception. That's, that's releasing some terror, as Mark is saying on the board. He says, Watt power also. Bye, Felicia. Somber saying on the, oh, yeah, this one's good too, Cody. Can I borrow your car right quick? I want to borrow my car. Damn, most people ask for sugar. A pen. You want to borrow my car? Hell no. Dude, Smokey, great. Can I borrow your Smokey? Can I borrow your VCR right quick?
You always have one thing and not the other. Cereal, no milk. Ham, no burger.
Well, here's one more favor, and then I'll stop. I'll talk about football. What about when Smokey's on the outside of the house and Zell comes up? Smokey, what are you doing over there? I ain't the smartest man in the world, but from over here, it looks like you taking a shit. Get the fuck out of here, Zell.
What up, Big Perm? Big Worm?
Hey, everybody, Smokey back here taking a shit. Dude, classic, man. Was you eating corn? He said. It looks like he was eating corn. Let's see. Ray Filipato, Mike. Ray Filipato says this. He says he believes that Troy Fatanu is already one of the top right tackles in the league. Yes, he's a home writer. We understand that. We like Ray. But, Mike, to be said in this, even just speculation, and just to say this out loud, I think that's a good sign. Again, yesterday we talked about Troy. We talked about how you haven't seen his face on TV in the first 8 weeks, which is top. I mean, that's something that you want from your offensive lineman. If I don't see your face on TV all season, you had a great year. Yeah. And Fittipaldo, Mike, he's saying that he's already on his way to being one of the best, one of the top right tackles in the league. Mike, Troy Fatanu, can you tell me anything bad about this guy that you could see?
Nothing yet. No. Like everyone else, he gets beat occasionally, but it's not consistently. He's talking about someone who's improved from week 1 to now. There were a couple games early. I'm like, oof, we might have a Project O's type situation over here on the right side, and I haven't thought about that in like 65 games. It feels like. Yeah. So he has locked it down on that side. I've been very impressed with him. Like you said, man, you're not seeing his name pop up anywhere. That's a good sign as an offensive lineman. When they're not talking about you at all, you're doing a damn good job.
Absolutely. I hope
once they start talking about you after they've not talked about you, that means you're doing
I haven't heard them watching a Steeler game. I haven't heard them talk about Broderick Jones, which is a plus. I haven't heard them talk about the 2 sophomores, of course, Frazier and McCormick in the middle, which is a huge plus. I haven't heard them talk about Fatanu. Those are all great signs that this offensive line is gelling. As we said, that was necessary early in the year whenever they were struggling. I said these guys have to gel in order for things to get better, Mike. I think that it's safe to say that for what they are, young offensive linemen, they're starting to gel.
They are too, and they got 3 of them in one draft.
I know.
Fatano, Frazier, and McCormick all in one draft. And it kind of sucks, that what Fatano lost that year of development, but it doesn't look like he's missed a beat. And you get 3 guys in one draft, and Broderick's looking like he might be a serviceable left tackle.
And that's always been my.
I will take that. I think he a plus starter, an above average starter, left tackle that you can leave there for a few years. I'll be okay with it. He doesn't need to be otherworldly. Just not be a liability over there. Be a guy you don't have to worry about. Yeah, you might get beat occasionally. Who doesn't?
I thought I thought we'd all be losing our mind about Broderick Jones by now, guys. We're week 10. There's 18 weeks. 18 weeks in the season. We're not losing our mind about Broderick Jones. No. We're not losing our mind about the offensive line. It was a little shaky at first. It seems like Aaron Rodgers always had to get out of that pocket. But guys, we got to admit the offensive line certainly looks like it's gelling, and that's all we really asked for. Just play better together, stop the stupid shit. And I think they are. Mike, offensive linemen generally take their job very seriously, and I think that this offensive line is no different as we see these young kids. Growing every year, Mike. Again, 3 of these guys are sophomores. Broderick's a little older, so come on. I'm very excited, Mike. And then also, Siamalu, yes, he's kind of been that veteran anchor, but at the end of the day, he's been very serviceable. He's been holding his position down until somebody else comes along. So as far as the offensive line goes, guys, I really have very little bad to say about them, just because it was so bad early, and now again they look like a professional offensive line in the NFL. So at this moment, right now, at 1:52 on November 5th, I'm saying that I have no problems with the offensive line. Beyond this or behind this, I can't give you any promises.
Yeah.
But right now, at this very moment, Mike, I'm satisfied with the offensive line play of the Steelers.
Me too, man. I'm very, very surprised. I thought we'd have a lot to be worried about, but we don't.
Let me get that, guys. I'm going to jump on this Chargers schedule up to the moment, and then we're going to get through the board. I promise you, I'm not going to leave anybody behind. We don't do that. We don't do that here, Mike. We don't do that here.
Don't do that here.
So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about this so far, what the Chargers have done this season. Yes, they beat the Chiefs in week 1. They hosted the Chiefs in week 1. They beat them 27-21, which I think a lot of people would agree. The Chiefs starting 0-2, 0-3. I could say that wasn't a great win at that time. You beat them now, I'm more impressed, which I think they'll be playing them soon. But week 1, Chargers over the Chiefs, 27-21. Week 2, the Raiders could very well be one of the worst teams in this league. The Chargers win that game 20-9. Just a 10-point win, 11-point win over the Raiders. Week 3, 2 go 3-0 in their division to start off the season. I give them that. I was giving the Chargers a lot of props early by going 3-0 to start off the season. And to have 3 division games to kick off a season is pretty strange to me anyway. Yeah. But here we are. Guys, they did, in fact, beat the Broncos. They beat them by 3 points, which is roughly how we played them last year early in the season, as we beat the Broncos by just a few points. Chiefs 3-0 with a 23-20 win. Let's get out of the division. Oh, my God. The New York Giants was a pretty a bad team, guys. Bad team early. They started to have to yank their guys and put other guys in. The New York Giants managed to beat the Chargers in week 4, 21-18. This Commander team, who we could say was in the NFC Championship game last year, as Jaden Daniels was a rookie, that they're strong. But after watching them play football this year, Mike, that's not the same team. They are not as strong as they were. The Commanders come along and also beat the Chargers 27-10. So after 5, the Chargers are 3-2, heading to Miami. They take the trip down to South Florida, Mike. They take on these. Come on. I called the Raiders the worst team. If Miami's not the worst team, along with the Jets or the Browns, I'd be surprised. Chargers beat this Dolphins team by 2 points, 29-27. It was a tough win for them. They had to really fight for the win.
They collapsed too. They at one point. And going into the fourth quarter, their win probability was like 83%, and they could not hang on to that lead.
All right, so then the Colts. Here's an interesting one. The best team in the league. How did they fare? We want to know how did they fare against the best team in the league, a team that we, of course, just dominated. I mean, come on, 24-7 and late in the game, bullshit points. It was worse than it looked, guys. They lost to the Chargers, or they lost to the Colts by 2 touchdowns, Mike. The Chargers lost to the Colts by 2 touchdowns. Again, we were up 24-7 late in the game. Again, bullshit points. But nonetheless, the Chargers lose to the best team in the league by 2 touchdowns, 38-24. Next game on the list, guys, was the Vikings. This is a team that we beat early on. The Chargers also beat them 37-10 at home. And finally, they go to Tennessee last week. Okay, I call these other teams the worst team. This is the worst team right here. Yeah. The Tennessee Titans, guys. The Chargers barely getting by the Titans last week with a 27-20 win. The same score that we beat the best team in the league with last week, 27-20. They beat the worst team in the league, 27-20. For these reasons, guys, I think we are just a better football team. Pound for pound, do we look great through our schedule? No, we don't look great. We're doing well enough, but we do look better than this Chargers team. Mike, I say we beat this Chargers team this weekend. Will it be tough? Yes, they have a good defense. Obviously, somehow they're being able to find ways to run here and there, and they do have a really, really nice young quarterback, a veteran coach. It's not going to be an easy game. We're not going to go blow this team out, but I say we win this game. When it's all said and done, we come back to Pittsburgh to play the Bengals, Mike, at 6-3 after 9 games.
Yeah, I think we win this game. I think it's going to be a tough, a close game. Because, we're traveling out west. Herbert's a good quarterback. I think he'll manage to keep it close, but I think we find a way to win this game.
I do too. I can't even bring myself to imagine us losing this game. And I try to do that. I look at it from different ways.
Me too. I can see us losing it, but I think we're going to win. I think the way they responded last week carries over into this game, and it might be a Chris Boswell field goal that wins it, but not like one of those last second, oh my God, field goals. It's just going to be maybe an innocuous, field goal with, 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. But it's just a struggle, a battle the rest of the way between the two defenses.
And before I get back to the board, which is the most important part of the show, I want to read you some of these facts. I found that an interesting, way interesting fact sheet on the Steelers of what they've done this year. Let's see. Mike, the Steelers have had 2 games this season in which they recorded 5 takeaways or more. They won both of those by 1 possession in a combined 14 points. Ooh. Also, Keanu Benton has 3.5 sacks this season. He had a combined 2 in his first couple seasons. Combined 2. He has 3.5 now.
Not bad.
Since 2017. Okay, someone talked about that yesterday. Here it is. Yeah, that's not impressive.
Doesn't fit the narrative.
It doesn't fit my narrative. Pittsburgh tight ends had more receptions than wide receivers yesterday, 10-8, which again, that kind of goes into the Arthur Smith offense. So should we be surprised? I don't think. Linebacker Peyton Wilson, 14 combined tackles, were his NFL single high. The last time he had more was his final collegiate game, recorded 15 tackles in November of 2023 in a win over North Carolina in a game where Drake May started. Of course, the New England quarterback. Joey Porter recorded his first NFL sack. Like Warren and Wilson, the Penn State products' last such incident occurred at college. Porter's only one other sack came in 2020 in a game against Indiana, the first game of the season. The season was disrupted by COVID. I think I got a couple more interesting ones, and then we'll get back to the board. I promise you. Let's see. Jonathan Taylor Thomas had run for at least 66 yards in every game this season, which was a blowout. He was pulled from it's written weird. Yards every game of the season, which was a blowout. He was pulled from in Pittsburgh. They held him to 45 points. That is his lowest output since week 11 of last season.
Wow.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas did not run as minimally as he did this week against the Steelers for quite some time. Over the past 2 weeks, the Steelers have allowed 149 combined rushing yards to offenses featuring Josh Jacobs and Jonathan Taylor. Specifically, Jacobs and Taylor have rushed for just 78 yards and 1 touchdown against the Steelers.
Ooh.
TJ,
I didn't realize we did that well.
That's what I'm saying. We're a good team. I mean, we can't get too discouraged. These are some things that are encouraging. Tyler Warren, Mike, your guy from Penn State, was held to a season low 26 receiving yards. Pittsburgh handled the dynamic rookie well in this one.
Bum. He's a bum. No, he's a good player. We just locked his ass up. They were hitting him hard too. It was fun to see.
Jalen Warren entered the game with 0 rushing touchdowns on 83 attempts, easily the most carries of any player without one. He scored twice on the ground yesterday for Sunday for his first multi-rushing touchdown game of his career. His last came in November of 2021 at Oklahoma State when he scored three rushing touchdowns in a 63-17 win over TCU. You guys want a couple more? Or do you want to get back to the board?
Let's do a couple more.
All right. Pittsburgh sacked Daniel Jones 5 times. It makes, for the first time, the Steelers have notched a 6-turnover, 5-sack game since 1981, a 34-20 win over the Atlanta Falcons. It's just the 5th time since 1966.
Damn. Did not realize that.
A couple more. To put this rarity in perspective, this type of outcome happened only twice during the Steel Curtain era and not once during the historic 1976 season. It happened in 77 and 79, both against the Oilers. 3 different Steelers intercepted a pass Sunday. Jack Sawyer, Peyton Wilson, and Joey Porter, a trio of Steelers defenders, haven't picked off a pass since week 16 of the 2023 season. Mike, it was Eric Rowe, Michael Walker, and Alex Highsmith was the last time 3 different players intercepted passes for the Steelers, and that was against the Bengals back in 2023. So there you go, guys. Some interesting scoop. I figured the Steeler fans would like it. I liked it. I like getting into that kind of shit and the numbers and the details. But Mike, I think we're at the time where I'm gonna shuffle pass it to you because we have to get to the trivia of the day. I'm shuffling it over to you, Mike. Why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about the website?
The 2dumbyinzers.com. We got the merch store. We got all of our social media links and the dumb thoughts. Check it out at the 2dumbyinzers.com.
Go check it out, everybody. A lot of cool things over there. www.the2dumbyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumbyinzers.com. Mike, I promise I'm going to do it. I'm going to get back on the board here and get caught up on the board. And then we're going to get to the trivia of the day. I'm going to go right here. Phyllis Steele says, at Vegas, every time, and I know where this is from right off the top. He says, every time I get in the 2 Dumb Yinzers, every time I get in the 2 Dumb Yinzers, you and the 2 Dumb Yinzers, asking all the dang questions, asking this and that. I want to ask some questions. I want to hear Jimmy. Of course.
God damn.
Every time, what's he say? Every time I'm in the kitchen, you in the kitchen, eating up all the food, all the pig's feet, all the hog maws. I want some pig's feet. Such a classic, absolutely somber. One of my favorite. It may be my favorite movie ever. Christopher is saying everyone is crucifying Jonnu for dropping that 3rd down pass, but if you really look at it, Aaron Rodgers overthrew him by a fingernail. Aaron was a little off on a few passes. That is why our offense sputtered. Joe says Broderick Jones has a lot of help. If lately, why would there be any conversation about him? Corey says this, Somber, I appreciate you. Don't forget, turn on the notifications so you know when I post. I changed my release times to fit the conspiracy theory horror concepts. Check him out, everybody. Go check out Corey's podcast. Don't drink that. Bingo says Broderick Jones' main job equals protect our geriatric quarterback. Quarterback throws touchdown. Broderick Jones tackles him. Awesome. If that is not on the highlight reel for the Steelers of the season, it's got to be on there. I mean, even if it's a low light, I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like that in my life. It's almost as ridiculous as when Gus Frerotte headbutted the wall, Mike, and knocked himself out.
Nothing will ever top that moment in NFL history. I remember watching that game.
Yeah, me too.
Like, the fuck did he just do?
Gus Frerotte from Western Pennsylvania, actually. He's another pro quarterback. Christopher says this: if he threw the ball higher to Darnell Washington, the DB would have not been able to get a hand on it. I agree. It wasn't the greatest throw. Cody, gotcha. Scott says, I thought the same thing on that first play of the game. Aaron overthrew the ball a little bit. He needed much more touch on the ball. Tortilla says, did Jones start bad last year and finish strong and Moore started strong? Remember last year, he didn't even know what side of the line he was on. Broderick was so out of it. They were putting him on the right side. They were putting him on the left side. They were trying him at guard. I think they even put him at safety. Obviously, I'm just kidding, but he couldn't get one foot in front of the other. last year project. So I think that he's coming a long way from that point at least. And I got to be honest with you guys, this guy has not been killing us. Myles Garrett did not kill us. I would have certainly taken advantage of that if I was Cleveland. And remember, Myles Garrett didn't even record a sack against us. So, say what you want about him. He's improving, man. Corey says, bingo. At bingo, Broderick reminds me of how The Blind Side portrayed Michael Orr. They made him seem so special needs, but it aligns more with how Broderick talks and acts. Blind Side, ex Big Precious. Let's see. Cody says the Jets or Browns could draft 4 of the best quarterbacks every year and still suck. The Jets had Sam Darnold. I know. Baker Mayfield. Guys, these are guys that are successful quarterbacks on teams that Tampa Bay wasn't a really good team. Look what Baker's doing over there. Seattle, Geno's been holding them up for a few years, but, getting that help now, they're looking good. They're certainly they're moving up the rankings in the NFC. Christopher says he also threw the ball behind Freiermuth on the touchdown. Muth had to reach behind him to catch it. That is true. Vegas says Broderick Jones seems like he will apologize to you if you bump into. I don't like the guy. He's just again. It seemed like it took a long time to get the gist of it, but I hope he's getting it now. So
it looks like he's locking in.
He's locking in. We'll go with that.
I'll take it.
Mark Malone says we're gonna have to have big games from the running blacks and the white ends. Of course, always need the white ends and the running blacks, man. That's what it's all about. Vegas says today in 1940, Franklin D. Roosevelt was elected to an unprecedented third term as the president. I did not know that. Also, Cody says Titans sorry as fuck to their defense, scored 2 touchdowns. It was 14-0. The Chargers lucked out, played the team that every other team would have won rest of the games. Titans offense kicked 2 field goals. Vegas says rushing D has held Judkins, Jacobs, and Taylor down the shit. That's what I'm saying. They've
been holding guys
down. Consistency, guys. They either look like they're really good or really bad. Cody says this. He says Darnell Washington caught that pass from behind and held on to it. Washington's a goat. Damn, he gonna cry in the car. Red. Well, my grandmama gave me that chain. Let's see. What you got on my 40, homie? Nah, I'm not, man. Let's see. Vegas is on this date, 1981. Mercury Morris was sentenced to 20 years in jail for drug trafficking, but reached a plea bargain to serve only 3.5 years. I appreciate that, Jamal, guys. Jamal says hit that like button. Mark Malone says a lot of things. A lot of that is Rodgers getting rid of the ball. And again, his upside is good. So there's sometimes I can't get so pissed off when his downside peeks through, because come on, anything that we tried over the past 5 years worked. Zilch. Production we're having this year offensively, I'll happily take it any time after what we just went through for 5 years. Quarterback wise, of course. Vegas says George Foreman knocked out Michael Moore out to win the heavyweight title in the state in 1994. I remember that. And you know what? It's so crazy that all these things happened on this date. What is up with November 5, right?
It's a weird
day. This is a lot of different things that Vegas is saying. It's crazy that, one date. Scott says, why are they monitoring Washington and then run the opposite? Why are they motioning Washington? Sorry. Motioning Washington and then run to the opposite side where he gets set. I'd rather overpower somebody instead of trying to fool them. I think that's what it is. I think it's we sometimes we overthink ourselves, and it drives me nuts. Sometimes the obvious thing works. Guys, you got to use the guy's strengths, and but maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just a little overthinking. I think sometimes is what we do. Somber says that slant to 80 should have gone to 4. It probably would have been a touchdown had it been. And then also Christopher says when we beat Buffalo, you guys will see the light. That Juan Valdez Scantling signing was not a light move. A-Rod likes him a lot, and they were teammates, and they go on and on about that. So you know what? I hope you're right, Christopher. Again, I don't hope that you're not right. 320-pound dude running slant. That's exactly it. Athletic, pro, whatever. You got to be able to turn your body quick enough to do things, and 320 pounds sometimes can stop you from doing just that. Tortilla says this, I feel confident in our offense with Rodgers. If the game is on the line, he's going to go take it. I agree. I feel more confident, Mike, with the
Me
game on the
too.
line, with the quarterback we have now, certainly more than anybody that we've
Yeah.
had over the past half decade.
Me too. Me too.
Phil the Steel says I'm not on. Phil the Steel says I'm not on Two Dumb Yinzers anymore. I'm on PBS. When does Reading Rainbow start with Peaches? Yeah, Peaches, Mike.
You don't want to know what kind of smut she's going to be reading.
It
It might
finally,
not be LeVar Burton approved, but
and
my God,
Peaches even
it will be Vanilla Sexy approved.
she even popped up on on the show yesterday. It was
She
nice.
did too, and all the heavy hitters came out yesterday.
Corey says 115 is a gematria number. 115, 108, 201 are all wild numbers in those circles. Guys, let's get to the trivia question of the day. How well do you know your enemy? How well do you know your opponent, Mike? This is I'm going to call them San Diego, the San Diego Chargers, just because I can't, just because
Wales vagina.
I literally can't force myself to call them LA Chargers, not on the first attempt anyway. Guys, this is the question of the day. Mike, put on your thinking cap, everybody on the board, everybody at home. Here we go with the question of the day. In 8 matchups, what is Mike Tomlin's record versus the Chargers? In his career coaching with the Steelers, 8 matchups it was. What was the win-loss record that Mike Tomlin has against the Chargers who were playing this week? Take a minute to think that over, guys. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. every day right here on the Tube. The Tube. So, Mike, the question being, of the 8 games Mike Tomlin has coached against the Chargers while being the Steelers head coach, what is his record after coaching 8 games? Finchie's saying 4-0, which would be 4 games. So maybe throw.
You want to add some more in there, bro.
Let me get the feel. Phil says 4-4. I'm going to read a couple more of these while you think this out, Mike. Vegas says Stanley Jefferson is the answer. Mark Malone says is Brister. Bubby Brister still lurking in the shadows. We actually talked a little bit about him when Tim Worley was on the show, Mike, before the draft last year.
Yeah.
Little inside conversation about Bubby Brister was a lot of fun.
That was fun.
Tortilla says, yeah, even though the Steelers didn't make a move yesterday, it was still fun to hang out. Yeah, man, definitely. It was a blast, and we appreciate everybody. 4-4 is what Phil's saying. Tortilla's saying 6-2. Phil's saying 500 is the standard. Finch then corrects it and says 8-0. And then he comes back and says, sorry, I hit the wrong key on my phone. Mike, what is your thought process? What do you think? Corey Beaver says, I think it's 4-4. I'm pretty positive. 8 games. Mike Tomlin, the Chargers record. What is it?
I'm going to go 5-3.
5-3, and that's going to line up with Kenneth. Kenneth just, I do want to say welcome, Kenneth. Always great seeing you too. He just put 5-3 on the board. And is that your final answer?
Final answer.
All right, locking you in on 5-3, guys. Again, the question is: in 8 games coached by Mike Tomlin against the Chargers of LA and San Diego, and/or what was his record in those 8 games? And Mike says 5-3. Some people said 4-4. Some people said 5-3. Some people a little less, guys. Here is the answer to the question. In 8 games, Mike Tomlin's record against the Chargers is, in fact, 5-3. 5-3. And when I thought it to myself, I tried to figure it out because it didn't seem like we always beat them, but it didn't seem like we always lose to them either. So I kind of figured somewhere right around that 5-win area was my guess as well. Christopher is saying 7-1. It ended up being 5-3. 5-3 is Tomlin's record against the Chargers. Hopefully, we can turn that into 6-3, as Mike, the Steelers also can be 6-3. So we win. Everybody goes 6-3 against the Chargers. I like that.
Me too. Let's get that dub.
Bingo says, do post and flag routes count as slants? Like how a square is a rectangle, but a rectangle is not a square.
Let me guess. That was Vegas.
It was actually Bingo.
Oh, Bingo. Oh,
Roger. Yo, Roger Murray, bro. What's up, dude? Nice seeing you, man. Haven't seen you for a while. Great having you on the board. Roger Murray back, everybody. I do think he says I do think A-Rod needs to be more patient and trust the O-line more. He seems to be too animated for my taste when a player makes mistakes. I agree.
He gives me Dan Marino vibes. I used to watch Dan Marino when I was younger. He'd overthrow a receiver by 10 yards and be like,
yeah. I'm not on that. They do when they do it too much. Every once in a while, if you need to get in someone's ass, you got to. But these guys like the Phillip Rivers, it's a little too much. Calm down, right? Phyllis still says Fincher. Fincher is the biggest loser this week. That's right, guys. And don't forget tomorrow the CBS Pick'ems does start back up for Thursday Night Football as Week 10 kicks off tomorrow night. I noticed there's probably about a handful of people, about a half dozen people already did get in on the picks. And I do want to say Somber, welcome. Somber is now also in the CBS picks as well. Good luck to you. He already has his picks in, but don't forget, get your picks in by tomorrow. You don't want to miss out. It's free, costs nothing. It 30 seconds to sign up. Get over there, man. Also, right here, Christopher says we just signed a real nose tackle off of Kansas City practice squad. Broderick Martin is a run stuffer. Yeah, we were just talking about that a little bit ago, Christopher. And again, I think it's good. I think any help on the interior line, both sides of the ball, is going to be beneficial because, teams with strong lines do successful things. Wade Johnson 1, what's up, dude? Wade Johnson 1 says Steelers traded for a safety and signed a wide receiver. Yeah, that's about it, man. And I do want to say welcome back, Wade Johnson. Always great seeing you, my man. Tortilla, God, how does Mike Google so fast? Believe me, he's got a whole system over there. He has voice Google activated, and it hears me, and it's printing out the answer as he's not even moving. Believe me, he has a whole system.
Okay.
I'm taking. I got something figued out for him.
Every time I lose, it's I'm a dumbass. When I get the question right, I'm Googling.
Yeah. Yes. Kenneth says, I definitely guessed. Kenneth did have a good guess. He did get it right as well. Cheers. See you on the flip-flop, man. Always, my man. Great having you around today, Phil, as always. Mark Malone says, I just remember those Cox knocking us out of the playoffs way back when. Corey says, oh, okay. Then we're winning. Mike T is going 6-3, and the team is going to prove 6-3. I'll take it. It's good for me. It's good for us. Finch says, yep, my picks were trash. I picked the Colts, though. So I'm not mad about it, LOL. But everybody, I do want to say thank you for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so much. Yesterday, today, and always. Yes. Thank you. I want to say thank you to everybody who is on the board. You guys always make things interesting, keep things interesting here on the show. Thank you to the board. And also I want to say thank you to everybody that's at home or in the car or at the gym or wherever you may be. Maybe got your ear pods in. Thank you too. A few other things here, Mike, before we do get ready to wrap things up for the day. This is going into week 10. The NFL starts week 10 tomorrow on Thursday Night Football. The Steelers will be traveling to Los Angeles to play the Los Angeles Chargers, who are 6-3 on Sunday night, 8:20 start. The Steelers are already 3.5-point underdogs in this game, and we are all going to be getting together, Mike. I think the plan is finally starting to formulate into place with Derpy, myself, Mike, and Finch. I think we are going to do it. I think we're going to do it, guys. The live reaction. We'll talk more about that as the week plays out, as we get a little bit closer. Also, I do want to say, check us out. If you haven't had a chance, check out any of our social media. We're on Facebook, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and even TikTok. Swing by, hit the follow button, and keep up with the two dumb Yinzers are up to on a day-to-day basis. And finally, if you haven't had a chance, also hit the like button below. Hit the sub, the share, comment, if you will. It helps us out. We appreciate it all. Thank you for that. And also, finally, one more thing I do want to say, Mike. These guys over at Duquesne Pilsner are great people. They are right here in Pittsburgh. It's great beer. We never have any at the studio in the refrigerator. It's always here for the games. Give these guys some love. They give us love. They always help us out with promotions and everything. So swing by any of their social media. They're everywhere. Show them some love as well. And if you get a chance and you get a little thirsty this weekend as you're getting ready for the game, stop by and get yourself a case of Duquesne Pilsner, Mike. It's made right here in Pittsburgh, and it says right on the can, grab a Duke.
Grab a Duke.
I am looking. Let me see. All right, let me grab a couple more of these messages, and we are going to bounce. We're going to be out like a fat girl in dodgeball, I promise you. I think those 3 losses was against Phillip Rivers. Christopher is saying that of Mike Tomlin's 5-3 record. Vegas is saying Ryan is treating you like a jobber. I'm not treating him like a jobber. Somber says, take care, Jen. You too, my man.
Exactly. Thank you, Vegas. Vegas, you just made the friend list.
I think we appreciate that, Somber. We hope you do as well. Wade Johnson 1 says, hold on. What are your thoughts on Marquez Valdez-Scantling? Mike, go ahead and take that one. Yeah.
I've never been a fan of MVS. I've never have. And when I saw we were getting him, and when we were linked to him in the offseason, I was and I'm now.
Yeah.
Just not a fan. I hope he does come in and play well. Don't get me wrong. It's not a fan.
It really feels to me, Wade Johnson is this. It really feels that MVS is going to be the Mike Williams of this year.
Yeah.
I mean, he's on the practice squad right now. Who knows what the hell's going to happen? It wasn't the ideal move that I think that anybody actually wanted, but at the end of the day, we got a receiver, so I guess we got to be happy with that. Whether he'll even be up on the squad, who knows? Who knows what's going on? Again, I don't think many people loved the Juan Valdez-Scantling pickup. So there you go on that. But we'll be back tomorrow. We'll talk about that and a lot more. Also, Wade Johnson, if you join us tomorrow, I do want to say Scotty said it works. It worked last week, so I say it again. Steelers need to bend over Herbert and introduce him to Captain Count. did you say that last week? I think I would remember that one. Also, Tortilla says we're about to show the Chargers how straight men play football. Corey says no, one of those two losses were to Herbert in 2021. All right, guys. Well, hey, I do want to say thank you one more time. I hope to see everybody back tomorrow. We'll be back to do it all over again. Same thing tomorrow. We have picks tomorrow. I do believe that I know Derpy will be here. I believe Finch will be here as well. We'll get a little bit more into the conversation about the watch party on Sunday night. We're going to try to get that all together. So, guys, we hope to see everybody back tomorrow. We'll get into what it's going to take for this Pittsburgh Steelers team to go 6-3 in this next part of the season, guys, and much, much more moving forward. So, Mike, anything else? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
I got nothing, man. Great show, everyone. This was fun.
Again, thank you so much, everybody, for stopping by. We appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. Guys, I hope everybody has a great hump day. Stay out of trouble. Be safe. Be careful. Go check out the guys on the board, of course. You could always go check out Jamal over at the Talking Trash with the Steeler Gang. He's on YouTube. It goes with him. It could happen at any time, so just keep your eye open.
Forever.
Also, Corey on the board with Don't Drink That. It's a conspiracy theory podcast. Go check out these guys, both on YouTube. A lot of cool stuff. Here we go, Tortilla, as my man. Of course, my man, Vegas. Everybody, thank you so much. Have a great day. We'll see everybody back tomorrow at our regular time right here. Have a great hump day. For Mike and the Steelers Central Mobile Studio, myself, the two dumb Yinzers. Have a great one. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.